Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another match reaction to another loss for Chelsea. 4-2 at the Bridge. Lots and lots of pressure on Mr. Pochettino himself. That's where we're going to start. Pochettino, will he be sacked? Is what most Chelsea fans are wanting to know right now. What's the situation? Where are we? What's the news? We're going to get into all of that. We've got a little bit of injury news. We'll be talking about yesterday's game later in the show today as well. But I need every single one of you guys right here, right now, to smash the like buttons. Smash the likes, guys. Share it out. Let's get the likes up. Let's get them likes up. Lots of Poch talk to come into play right now. Let's cue that intro. People, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another match reaction show and Chelsea news show for you guys. Today, we will be cracking on with Pochettino because in the last two games, we have seen absolute nightmare results. Nightmare results, nightmare performances, not good enough for this football club. And we're going to talk about everything in and around the game. Pochettino, I've got lots of bits to go through today as well. It's going to be a very busy show today. What I need you guys to do in the chat is to smash the like button, guys. Can we smash the like buttons and get these likes up to 100 as quickly as we possibly can, please? Share it out as well on Twitter, on your Instas and your socials, guys. That massively helps the channel as well. But there's so much to get into. And we're going to talk about news around Pochettino because after last night, there was rumours. There was notes of people saying that there's potential that he may be sacked today. There has been some bits of news on it in regards to where we stand with it. Whether it's true or not is obviously the bigger question. But the fact that Egbali, Mr. Bowley, and co are all having discussions for what we've been told this afternoon about Pochettino, about where they stand. It's a bit of mixed decisions and mixed feelings about the situation. There's lots going on in the football club, man. It's just, and it's not all for the good things. You know what I mean? It's all just a load of crap. So let's quickly go through the chat quickly before we go live. That is the most dumbest comment I've ever heard. And that one, Bar Madrid. Leo, what you saying? How are you? Good to see you. Naku, what are you saying? Chelsea 2, Southampton 6. September 1967 was the West Stand pit benches. Come and get your popcorn. Sean, how you doing, bro? He's Poch out. How many of you in the chat are Poch out at the moment, guys? That is another big question I'll ask here. Nearly 100 people in here already, guys. Keep tapping the screens. Has Poch been sacked? Well, no is the answer to that. From what I've heard and what I've been told, no is the answer yet. Not yet, but there is discussions, and we're going to talk about it in a bit. Go away, you. Go away, you critic. You never been in a game in your life. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to, Al? Dominic, what you saying, my boy? How are things apart from Chelsea? All good, bro. Other than Chelsea giving us an absolute headache. And it brings depression. Because even though I'm past caring anymore, it still plays in my mind. I literally sit there thinking about what has happened, how the games went, how my head is, and everything's just well too much. Big up, Sean. What you saying? Get this guy out, is what he says. Dill says, big up, brother. Apart from yesterday's Poch, I'm Poch out. I'm clear like out. This dumb board is what Dill says. What's the point of getting rid of Pitch? We're going to be in the same position at last 2 times. Really? Is that your thoughts on it, Felix? Can you elaborate on it, please? I'd like you to elaborate on that, please, mate. It's embarrassing. No one is trying to play for the shirt. A team without a leader. So many things is what Fam's saying. I think Bowley should stop signing. The guy has no clues. What Felix says. Get him out now is what I'll be saying. Wolves ain't easy is what obviously Nasho's saying. But obviously he's a Man United fan, so he's here to waffle. Owners are accountable as much as Poch. Yeah, it's a collective. It's a collective. Poch out. He's ruining our club. Bro, Wolves played really well. By the way, I'm not going to take it away from Wolves yesterday. They actually played really well. And we're going to talk about their game a bit later. But the fact that they took it to us with their own plan and knew that ours wouldn't work goes to show how good our own how our own manager's tactics are, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Get me Mancini is what Babylon's saying here. Big up Jem. Poch is out is not enough. Kierlake out, Winstanley out. I agree with Winstanley and Stewart out. I don't think they've done good enough, and we're going to talk about that a bit. You have to get on board with a protest. But listen, I done a protest. I'm going to say it straight up. I was at the protest the first time round when the Ricketts were being touted to take over our football club. I'll be quite honest with you, the amount of people that did actually turn up against the ones that said they would was quite pathetic. Which is quite pathetic, I'm not going to lie. We dropped our heads as soon as the first goal. Anyway, let's get on with things because there's a lot to get on. And I'm going to stay on the topic quickly of this because this come out of nowhere. Todd Klein is to join Chelsea. He's just resigned as the Chief of Commercial Officer at Tottenham. This guy here, Todd L. Klein, will be joining Chelsea Football Club. And you can only really think, what for? What reasons? Why are we still adding board members? You know, ones from Spurs as well, which is just quite funny. And the only real highlight in it all is really and truly is the stadium. This guy is going to be in control of the proceedings of our stadium. And maybe they've liked what's happened over at Spurs, how it's been delivered. I don't know. But I don't really know why we're so focused on these kind of things when we've got a lot of other issues going on within the club at the moment as well, which we need to address, So he's here. He will be here in the next couple of months, and he will. We'll see what sort of impacts he brings to the team from a business aspect. But there is also some comments in regards to how he performed at Spurs, and some really not good takes. Really, Tottenham chief resigns after failing to secure naming rights deals for new stadium, with his time at Spurs also seeing a substantial turnover of staff. That doesn't look great. Todd Klein, the man Tottenham bought in to land a naming rights sponsor for the stadium, has resigned. The American was brought to the club in 2021 with high hopes of bringing a lucrative partner. However, close to 3 years on, a deal remains elusive, and Mouse Sports understand he has now stepped down from the Royal. Well, that doesn't, again, bring any confidence into that. But of course, it makes sense why Chelsea would sign him, wouldn't it? Of course it does. But his time in North London has been a substantial turnover within his department, with many long-serving and well-liked members of staff leaving the club. Well, that sounds even more great. So not only has he come in and failed at his duties, he's also kicked out really likable members of the football club. Yeah. And nothing really there that makes me feel, yay, this guy's good. He just looks like he's coming to join the circus, to be quite honest with you. And why are we even looking at this guy? I really don't know. I really don't know the answer to this. But that we'll talk for another day because I want to get into Poch. And this is where we're at. Pochettino talk right now, guys. We're going to get into it. Everything around Poch before we get into the game and where we're at with things at the moment. There's over 80 people in here already. Keep smashing the like buttons. Let's get these likes up. We will have the panel in at some point as well. There's talks about the potentials of new managers coming in. We'll be talking about that soon. Dark times for Mr. Pochettino. 9 wins, 4 draws, and guess what? 10 defeats. And guess what also, guys? We have conceded more goals than we've scored this season by 1. By 1. As bad as Graham Potter was at Chelsea Football Club, guess what? He still had the 3rd highest defensive clean record. We are now leaking goals under this guy. 4 goals against Wolves yesterday, 4 goals against Liverpool, and I've not seen anything like it in a while. I'm not going to lie. The back-to-back losses, and you look at what Chelsea are usually very good at doing, it's the defensive aspect of our game that's usually kind of spot on, or at least at a level for this club. But now it's gone completely out in the air. No one could defend. No one can track men. No one can read the game. Everyone's falls asleep on the ball. No one can play out from the back. Like, what, you're telling me they become bad over 2 games? Like, really? The defence it makes no sense. We spent a lot of money in this fucking defence. Yet this guy just can't seem to still get the best out of it. There's no protection for it, really, because he plays 1 lone DM who's on his own against 3 midfielders most games. Yeah. You know, we get overloaded in the defence because what Wolves did very good yesterday, and we're going to talk about the game a bit later, is they just kept attacking us. They pressed. They went forward together. They found the spaces when they had the ball because our own players weren't tracking back. There was so many wrong things about him and his systems and his tactics. Yeah, and the truth is, his tactics are outdated. His tactics are done. His tactics are done, guys. They stink. Yeah, he hasn't moved on. He's too naive. He's too stuck in his ways. You know, he doesn't look to progress or develop anyone. This guy is just this is the beginning. You know, and then you look at the last recent games that we've got coming up, guys, you know, and you think to yourself, well, we've got Aston Villa away next in the cup. Guess what? They smacked fucking 5-0 Sheffield United the other day. We've just conceded 4 goals back to back. Oh, and guess what? We're probably going to give him more time to stay at the club. In anything, probably because we need to, if we are going to sack him, we're going to need a replacement. And they're not going to sack until they replace. They have a replacement in hand, which tells me he's going to have till Villa. At least minimum till Villa. I know there was talks about him going today and that we would act fast. And I hope that maybe that is the case. But I don't think it will be. I really don't. There's talks about Hansi Flick being linked to Barcelona job now because Xavi's left. I've read, you know, it's just the fact that the board are not all on the same page about this as well, which is what we're reading, makes no sense. And I look at these upcoming fixtures, right? We've got Aston Villa, Palace, City. Spurs has been to be confirmed. But then Liverpool, Brentford, Newcastle, Arsenal. In the form that we're currently in at the moment, where are we getting points? Where are we getting points? What are we waiting for? Are we allowing more damage limitations to what we currently are at the moment, which is an absolute mess? Because he's going to stick to the same system. He's going to play the same structure. Now, I know there was talks about playing a 3 at the back. Apparently, he's trying to save his job. Guess who done that? Guess who else did that when they were coming to the end of their job? Graham Potter. Do you remember he started changing the system because they couldn't play to what he wanted? So he went back to doing, you know, what he thought worked because Tuchel was doing it, the 3 at the back. This is what we're going to be doing. This is what he thinks we're going to be doing. I don't even think he's going to do it. You want my honest opinion? I think he's that naive and that much like past it that I think he's just going to keep playing this system and keep drilling them and hoping that it will just tick with not realizing that he's not playing players in a position that works for them. He's not identifying how to get the best out of what he has. And how many times we said this about Potter and other managers that have came to this football club? This guy is meant to be a great developer. This guy is meant to be able to, you know, bring these young players that have got talent up to, you know, slowly progress them up to where they need to be in their abilities. He ain't showing that. He ain't showing that, mate. He's not showing that. And we're not getting any of the... We're not getting any... Bet Paul Stanley keeps... he has to be sacked today. Like, the answer to it is he should be. I sadly said you cannot play back four with Silva in the team. But it's not even just Silva, Alan. We spent so much money on the defence. And it doesn't matter what partnership we play. We're still going to have the same problem. It's the structure. It's how he sets us up. It's the system. It's the lack of problem solving that I keep seeing all the time. We go 1-0 up against Wolves, can concede a jammy goal to them, and then he just sits back. He don't even like... I'm being told from friends that went to the bridge yesterday that he was just sitting on the chair like this, just staring the whole game. Like, he had no... There's nothing. Not interested. I can't be dealing with that. I saw a lot of this from Graham Potter, but at least he was standing up. He was standing up with his arms crossed. This one sits down with his arms crossed. But nothing said. And you know when he's shit, you know when shit hits the fan with him, because then later in the game when we start getting slapped in the second half because he continuously doesn't change things and he allows us to just suffer, he then starts throwing on every attacker he's got on available. Carney, Mudryk, you know, this one, that one. Oh yeah, by the way, and at the end of it, he decides to throw on Alfie, 80 Saint minutes. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, There's just there's no logic behind what he's doing. I can't sit there for 90. And I sat there for 90 minutes trying to not lose my temper. I really did. I did. I sat there even when we was getting slapped. Yeah. But it hurts. It hurts me as much as all of you guys that we have to watch our team play the way we're playing at the moment, and that we've got a manager that is incompetent to see what needs to be changed and what he has to do to try and change it or do something different. Have a fucking different system. If your systems ain't working, do something else, bro. Do something else. Don't just leave us to suffer out there and get absolutely outplayed by a Wolves team, by the way, that turned up to our ground and said, we ain't scared of you. We're just going to attack. We're going to press you. We're going to attack you. And we know that your system or whatever it is that you're trying to do is going to suffer. It's not going to work. That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing that they can roll up and just play like that, knowing that our tactics are that bad that they've just got to worry about their own tactics. Because that's literally what they're doing. They just roll up teams and go, we're just going to do what we're doing. Fuck what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. I don't think even they know what they're doing. We just do what we're doing and we win the game. Not only they win the game, they slaughtered us. That's exactly what happened. You know, and there's some more bits and bobs here. Look, there's some more bits and bobs. Let's have a look. Just wow. Let's have a look at it. Last season, Graham Potter, Pochettino, both played 23 games. Position 10th. Well, guess what? Potter beat him. I mean, yeah, Potter beat Pochettino on that one. And guess what? The worst manager that we've ever seen in our life in 23 games is just about beat Pochettino in 23 games. I'm like, oh, granted, it's only 1 point and one position, but where's the progression? Where's the progression? Where? And I know we've had injuries. Guess what? Potter had injuries. Potter had injuries. He had the same problem. We had injuries, and God knows what was going on over Christmas period. That period under Potter was awful. It was even worse. We struggled to put 13 players on the pitch, like on the blooming bench. It was even worse for Potter. You know? How can Enzo look better under Potter than he does under Poch? This is meant to be an experienced manager, man. One of the big reasons, and you can rewind to when we first signed this guy. Go and watch all my shows about what I said about this guy. One of the biggest things that worried about me about this guy, all right, biggest things that worry about me, yeah, is him, his mentality. His mentality as a manager, what he's going to bring, his swaggerness, like that. That's what the managers need to have for me, a way about them. A bit of an aurora. So when they come into a room, you kind of go, oh, shit, boss is here. Boss is here. Don't fucking look at him like that. They don't look at him like that. They don't look at him like that. They don't look at him like that. Yeah, and yeah, partly, yeah, you're right. It is partly for them to blame. Because they're the ones that appointed this guy. They're the ones that allowed this guy to be appointed. Fine, I get that. But, like, at the end of the day, his mentality stinks. He's not a winner. I'm sorry, he's not a winner. He could have all the experience in the world with Southampton and Tottenham, but he completely made Mbappe and Neymar look completely toothless. Why? He never lasted at PSG. Guess why? Let me guess why as well. Because I saw parts and a lot of him over there, to be fair, actually. Because a lot of his systems were predictable. He was naive again. He didn't have no way around it. It was just, we got to play like this. And he's doing the same thing to us. Guess what? He's come over to Chelsea with toothless, same problems. This is the same shit. Yeah, but it's not the point. You're missing the point, Cat. It just doesn't matter about complaining about playing him deep. The problem now is this guy's playing him as a striker. You know this. We ain't got to talk about this right now. At least when he played him deep, he performed. Still under Potter. He received more of the ball. He was more active. He was more effective. He ain't effective under him. I find it funny that he's not even effective under it. They're both Argentinian. They should have a bond. They should both have a bond. Or whatever you want to call it. Attacking 8. You know, if that's the case, fucking Gallagher's a defensive 10. We play with a defensive 10. It's weird. Defensive 10, man. A guy consistently sticks playing with Conor Gallagher, who plays a defensive 10 these days. Poch. And then there's this man. Then there's this man. 100 games, 60 wins, 24 draws, 16 losses. 168 goals, only 77 conceded. By the way, with a squad that weren't his squad, by the way, I'm going to say it, and made the best out of what he had. He's mudded the last two managers, in my opinion. Completely mudded them. But people still want to moan about him. Like, let's be serious, man. There's levels. This is my point. Levels. I don't know. There's even a video of him having a go at Kovacic. He's looking at Kovacic, who's sitting on the bench, arrives 20 minutes late for training, and he's saying to him, he's going like this. He's going to him, what's this? It's 11 o'clock training. You come at 11:17. This is the difference. I can imagine them coming in at 20 past 11, putting their stuff on, and Poch just being like, okay, I'll meet you outside. See you in a minute. And they're all just fucking like, this is what I'm saying. It feels like it because they don't care. They don't care about this manager. It's not rocket science what to do with Enzo and Caicedo. We know what needs to be done. Play him as a blim pivot. Like, this is the problem, you know? And, guys, there's nearly 200 people here. Everyone tap the screen, share it out as well. Big up to Piaz. This is his actual personal page, guys. If you haven't followed it, give him a follow. Max London's first as well. This is his own actual, his own little Twitter he's got going. There is currently a divide in a hierarchy over the position of Mauricio Pochettino. Some figures feel a change is needed, whilst others, he deserves more time and the cup final. So what that basically means, others feel he deserves more time for us to go through more pain. Is that what you're saying? Is that what we're saying now? Just go to a cup final where Liverpool are going to be completely railed up and get demolished another 4-0 because this guy's going to play Enzo as a fucking attacking, whatever Couch called it, 8. More like a striker for me. He's that far up the pitch. And Conor Gallagher, the only defensive 10 in the whole of the world that plays in a 10 because he has no offensive ability. And we stand a chance. Really stand a chance. They want to give him, from what I've been told, the people that actually want him gone, and whether it's true or not, you know, time will tell, is Egbali. Egbali wants him gone. Todd Bowley's a little bit less inclined. And some others are obviously mixed opinions about it. But listen, as much as he needs to go, there's another 2 people that need to go with him. And it's our 2 fucking sporting directors. They are crap. They are crap. Stewart, Winstanley, their levels are just not of this club. I'm sorry, they're not. I'm sorry. They're not. For what they've shown us. Yeah, there's been some semi-good signings. Don't get me wrong. Some players who've been brought in are beneficial to what we're doing in the future. But you guys have gone and spent over nearly £1 billion on just signing these random young players, mate. Like, you know, if he's going to go, let's actually change things completely here. Let's change things completely here, shall we? Let's get rid of the 2 sporting directors. Let's go and show the elite level that we want to be. Maybe shift your project a bit. Maybe as owners, look at your project and go, oh, shit, maybe getting people from Brighton and people from Tottenham, maybe that's not the right idea. Maybe we need to spend a bit more money and start looking at the elite levels. So why don't we go and look at Mitchell? Why don't we look at him? He's available. Yeah, he's going to cost you dough, but he's an elite. He's elite at what he does at sport directing. Give him a shout. And with the manager, it's hard. And I'll be quite honest with you right now. I haven't really got a manager that I want. You know, a manager that I want in my head, thinking about it. The one thing I will say that I think we do need is an experienced manager, which he supposedly is meant to be, but one that demands respect in the blimmin' dressing room, that actually is able to adapt or drill players and play players in their correct positions. Understand the players. Michael Edwards, yeah, is another one. Or Paul Mitchell, like one of them. Vivell got out. Vivell jumped the gun. He left. He didn't hang around. He jumped the gun. He was like, I ain't dealing with this. I don't blame him. Nagelsmann didn't even come to us because he didn't like the project idea. So obviously, this what they're trying to do. Maybe the more experienced, tooled up ones out there are looking at it and going, "This is going to be hard." What you're trying to do is a risk. I don't know. But if they are going to continue with the project and what they have now, they really do need to find the right manager to be able to manage the squad or the profile of players we have. Well, stop getting managers that don't match the profile of players we have. We've done the same thing when we fucking decided to bring Romelu Lukaku to Chelsea and that bunch of crap attacking players we had, which we gave Thomas Tuchel, told him to work with it. And to be fair, he worked with it because he could do it. He's experienced. He's a level, in my opinion, compared to the ones we've had since coming in since. But find the manager that can actually sit down to you, all right, explain to you what they actually are going to do with the players they have, even when it comes to systems and tactics. If I was an owner, I would sit down and go, right, guys, tell me what you can do. How can we progress in what we want to do here? How can you get these boys up to where we need to and start seeing us winning on the pitch? What ideas? What do you do if we are losing games and they drop a bit? What do you think? Like, is there a second opinion? Just drill him. It sounds really stupid, but just drill the fuck out of these managers. Really find out, the depths of where they're going with things, because he's too naive. He must have just gone in and said, I'm Pochettino. I've got experience. I've got a system. I think I've got the players. The players are working by a system. Well, hang on. What if your players don't work in your system, or you try and play them out of position? What's your backup? That should have been the question. What are you going to do then? No. This will work. Because this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like when I watch him, because he's naive. This will work. This is what I'll do. I'll keep playing Enzo up there. And I'll put Gallagher in the team because he runs. He works hard, and then I'll put in Cunha up front, who hasn't kicked ball in ages, and this is what I'll do. And I'm going to stick to it because I'm Pochettino. I'm just so stressed. I'm past caring when it comes to watching us on the pitch. I am. But it still affects me. It hurts. It hurts, man. It hurts watching my club. I don't watch this anymore. Don't go to games. The last game I went to was Newcastle. A cup game, which we luckily won on penalties. And I'm glad we won. At least I got out with a win. But other than that, I can't. It hurts. This hurts right now because we're not progressing. We're getting hit every time. We're waiting as fans. Go on, let's go. We're ready. Show us some progression. We're waiting. New manager. Nothing. Oh, in fact, he's worse than Potter on stats. Let me just go the other way again. Regression, not progression. We like regression. Regression it is. And that's what we've been doing, regressing. Regression. You can't tell me Potter didn't perform better than Poch, because the stats say that we were on 23 games played, that we were better off under Potter than we was under Poch. Potter's meant to be the worst manager ever in our history. And now we've got a manager that's finished behind him. Does sacking Poch solve all of the problems, Chelsea problems? No, not even close. But it solves at least one. Having a manager that's not good enough, and it should have been done by now. Not surprised the club are being stubborn on this. They don't want to admit that they failed again. Yeah, and do you know what? The one thing I would say about this board, is in the past, they have sucked it in. Yes, George, what you're saying, you're good, bro. Oh, it's not good at the moment, bro. We are not in a good place. Progression, more like depression and regression. Let's talk about regression and depression rather than progression, because that's what Chelsea Football Club do. This is what we're doing at the moment, because this is what we are. This is what we deal with. Just got home and he hasn't been asked yet. I know logic skill, man. I know. It's just, you know, the reason I brought up this comment, not sure sacking him now solves anything. Another interim manager is a waste of time. No top manager will take the interim. So what do we do then, Vince, mate? What do you want us to do? You want us to just sit and have this manager, and should we just stick with him? I want to ask you guys in the chat. Do you agree with Vince? Do you agree with him? Do you think the answer to Chelsea right now is to just stick with him because we've given him this massive contract? Probably going to have to pay him off again because he's signed such a... What's his contract? Does anyone know? I can't remember how long he signed the contract for Chelsea. How long has he got left on his contract? Does anyone remember? Because I can't right now. My head's frazzled. You know, keep him. Let's just ride the wave. Maybe we'll finish 15th or 14th. Or if we're lucky, we might finish in the top 10. If we're lucky. But you know what? The one big excuse he hasn't got now. And this is the one thing that, even though I've been banging on about him and all these things that he's still doing now that he was doing when he didn't have the players available, but the excuse was he doesn't have players available. Okay. You keep saying it. He doesn't have players. He has players available now. Guess what? They're all coming back. The guy's got tactics. He's got players available. He could tactically be flexible if he wanted to be. And he's not doing it. He's still doing the same shit. Gallagher in the 10. Vince, when the manager and coaching staff have lost the respect of those around them, then you have to make a change. Not saying things behind the scenes that will magically turn. It's true what you're saying, because if the players haven't got respect for him, and let's be serious, when Bella, Thiago Silva's wife, is coming out and saying it's time to change, and she's closer than many of us, a lot more than us, because she's with Thiago Silva, it's probably telling you what the mindset is of the players. Let's be serious. Let's be serious. It's probably telling you what the mindset of the players are right now. So, yeah, and this is the other thing I agree with. On the other side of the coin, this guy, what he said here. Immediately today, we need 3 seconds. Poch, Winstanley, Stewart needs to be sacked. After that, get one sporting director. If Edwards is not willing to take the role, contact Maldini or bring back Czech. I'm even willing to give Lampard a shot. Then hire the manager. So what they're saying is just find someone with experience, not these Winstanley Stewarts that have been at Brighton and whatever and just done okay. And oh yeah, they could do this at Chelsea now, at a bigger club. You know, we can have the same profile as Brighton. It feels like it right now. Feels like it in terms of our league position. It's not good. We can't keep sitting here as fans waiting. And this goes back to the owners now. We can't be as fans sitting here waiting for the progression or waiting to see the owner's identity, the project, the idea, but just sit here and wait, yeah, and all we're seeing is regression. We can't. I can't. And you can rewind a year and a half ago when they arrived and when we were moaning about Potter and whatever, and I said, look, I'm going to give them a bit of time. They made a mistake. I think they deserve that. They've owned up to it. They sacked him. They got rid of Tuchel, whatever. They brought in Pochettino because they believed it. I sat back. Even though I didn't want the guy, I said, cool. But he's got to start showing us. I want to see what we're doing here. I want to see why they want him, what the idea is, blah, blah, blah. There is no idea. And we can't keep going on each and every season regressing. There has to be, even if we finish 6th this season, even if we finish 6th, let's just say, and we stayed in the top 6, that's progression. As much as you just won't like it, it's progression to what we were last year. We can't still be doing what we've been doing the year before, which is what we're doing now. Actually, a little bit worse than the year before. You can't do that. The project can't do that. The owners can't do that. You can't keep just, it's a project, you've got to wait. It's a project, you've got to wait. Come on, let's go. We're waiting. Let's go. You know, this is the thing. Listen, Matty, let's be serious, bro. You took a hard dive on the fact of thinking that these weren't the best owners. Still to now, let's be serious. Thinking this is all an assumption. My discussions that we had in the past with you was that I just needed to have a bit of longevity. I want to see where they're actually trying to go. I couldn't really make my mind up short term, in fairness. And yeah, they made mistakes, but they also owned their mistakes and got rid of players, managers, and whatever. So yeah, we are where we now, which is not good. And now they need to fix up. They really do. They've got to start fixing up because this ain't good enough. And yeah, if they have to sack Poch again, it's going to look fucking stupid. But they're going to have to own it. Made a mistake again. Shit. Third time lucky. We're going to have to get this right. So there's talks about Pochettino now saying... What will people say in the chat about Maldini before we get into this? Let me read this quickly. Don't ruin Maldini like that. He's a legend of the game. Just baffles me how he's still at the job. We're worse than Brighton now. We had changes to sign Luis Enrique. Mourinho is not the right coach for us. Takes experience. He takes experience and wins. We need someone that's Girona. But he's not proven though, is he, Callum? We're just throwing ourselves in a position again. This is why I'm not so attached to any of them. I don't know what manager I want because they're all to me meh. This is a problem. This is actually a big problem right now for this football club because the ones that maybe that are out there do a job with these players are either in jobs or never going to come to us. And then guess what? We're left with meh. And it's like, yeah, he could, but yeah, there's a good chance of Mourinho, but he'll get us playing this, that, and the other. But do we want to play that style of football? Should we get blimmin', Nagelsmann? Oh, even though he turned the project away, maybe he will come back again. His style of football, the 4-2-3-1 high line, same as what's his name, the German manager that was just there as well. I can't remember his name right now. Him as well, high line, 4-2-3-1, but meh, still, is it going to work? Not like, I don't know. I want an experience. I agree with this. The one thing I will say, I don't want random, let's hope, guess that they're going to be good at Chelsea. I actually want experience. Hansi Flick, thank you guys. Yeah. Hansi Flick. I don't want any just random anymore. I don't want the guy from Girona. Like, I don't, honestly, what's he get? Like, what experience has he got? I want someone that's got the experience. And when you talk about experience, you're now talking about managers that know how to win things, have a system, maybe not all of us like, but drill players to play it, working out the identity of bringing out the best in players. Mourinho, yeah, to a degree. Conte, naive in his systems. It's Pep's brother, mate. Is this what we're holding on to now? Do you know what I mean? And then this talks about this. Well, he's, and Potter done this last year, if you remember. After we couldn't work in the systems, he just threw it out the window. And at the end of where he was nearly going and all the panic kicks in, which is what's going on with Poch, guess what? Shit, I can't use my system. I'm just going to have to just play the three at the back. And this is what it's going to be like. This is what people were saying. Colwell, Silva, Disassi, Chilwell, Enzo, Caicedo, Gusto, and Nkunku, Palmer, Jackson. Now, does that look better on paper? Does it look more balanced? Does it look like we have more of a pivot in midfield? Yeah. But guess what? We've got 5 defenders on the pitch again. And guess what? One of them can't even keep himself fit. Actually, 2 of them. And guess who the 2 are? Chilwell and Gusto. How many times have they been injured this season? So what happens when they are out the window? What do we do then? Guys? Because this system solely relies on wing-backs. This system solely does rely on wing-backs. So what happens when we lose Chilwell? Who then plays there? Oh, guess what? We could have maybe played Maatsen there. But guess what? He's in blimmin' Dortmund, playing left-back every game. stressing me out. Stressing me out. This is why I've stopped coming live as much, because I just keep repeating myself. It's just so painful. Painful. I feel like I'm just looking in a mirror. Put my video. I should just video record my voice and my comments and just play it rather than coming live. Just play it. Put the live up and just put a video of me talking. The same thing, because it's the same shit. For Poch, this is probably the best way he could set up, but we shouldn't have to be moving back to a 3 after spending that money and get away from it. One, Chilwell's injury, yeah, and the system probably collapses as it does have its limits. The system will collapse because it does have its limits, and that's my problem. It's a system that could work in the short term, maybe against the Villa, try it, because we've got the players to do it. But in the long term, you can't play this. You can't play this system. You just can't for me. How can you not get the best? Hey, mate, I'm dying it. How can you not get the best out of all these attackers and midfielders? How can you not play strictly a 4-2-3-1? Why can Chilwell and Gusto not play great at fullbacks and give us this? Yeah. Why can't Caicedo and Enzo be closer together and be more effective? Why is Gallagher in the team? Why can't we defend? Why can't Silva and Disassi do what they do well and not what they're doing now? You know, Cole Palmer still performing to the level, one of the only ones, but we become too heavily reliable on him. Why has Sterling become all of a sudden crap again? Why is he now doing all this? You know, where's Mudryk? He's not even progressing. Madueke disappears hot and cold. Brower's gone. Jackson's returned, and guess what? Doing what he does best again, missing open goals. This is what you guys are waiting to see when he comes back. Fucking 2-yard header from goal. Headers it past the post. I know it was crap yesterday. You couldn't have asked for a better ball. Honestly, the ball landed on his head. It was there. The goal was there. How do you not hit that at the goal? How do you not hit that at the goal? Gallagher with his stinky shots. Open goals. All right, we conceded 2 goals. All right, a bit of injury updates before we go into the game. I've got the panels coming as well. He was scheduled to be back tomorrow. This is on Lavia, guys. People saying, when's Lavia returning? Well, Max is saying he was scheduled back tomorrow, but certainly seems to be complications with his injury. Basically, Romeo Lavia's season has been a write-off, nearly as much as Nkunku's. This guy can't keep fit to save his life, and it's quite sad, really. Guess what? We don't have the best medical team to even get him to the level that he needs to stay at, because we can't do it with Reece James. We haven't been able to do it with Nkunku. Our medical team's crap. So that's another problem that we have on our blimmin' books all the time. And let me add more. Let me just add the sprinkle, shall we? Because we spent how much? 70 million on this guy. Is it 70 mil on this guy? Let me just sprinkle a bit of salt on your blimmin' meat. Wesley Fofana seems unlikely to play again this season after suffering serious knee injury during the summer. Do you know this guy's already missed 60 games? 60 plus games. In fact, do you know what? I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this because no one realizes this. Yeah? Injury. Yes. Yeah? Here we go. In fact, I'm going to show you this. Okay? Yeah, so this is laughable. I can't believe this. I actually can't. I can't believe this. The £70 million player that we signed from blimmin' Leicester, who is going to be our next big thing and leader. Guess what? He's missed 203. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's do it. Actually, let's not even do that. Let's add up the matches, shall we? Let's add up the matches since he's been at Chelsea. 31 plus 9 plus 17. This man's missed 57 games. Arrived in 22-23. And guess what? We're nearly at the end of our second season. This guy's missed over nearly a season and a bit, season and a half of games. He's only been available for half a season in 2 seasons. We spent 70 million on this guy. And guess what again? Before we even signed this guy, guess what? Guess who was worried about this signature? Even though he's a good player. Me. And guess why? There he is. Why are we spending 70 million on a guy that suffers from injuries? Guess what? Like, it's just becoming pathetic. It's just everything's crap, man. Everything you look at's crap, isn't it? Everything you look at Chelsea is crap. Injuries, players, manager, directors, owners. It's all poo. Everything you open up about Chelsea is poo. It's literally shit out of bum. It's ridiculous. He set up yesterday like this. Petrovic, Chilwell, Silva, Disassi. And when you look at it on paper, you think, okay, yeah, come on. You know, this is a good team. This is a good team, isn't it? This is a good lineup. Barring Gallagher again. Mr. Conor Gallagher to the rescue. Needs to play. We need him. You know, and I think, right, we've got fullbacks. We've got natural fullbacks. We're going to push forward. We're going to pin them back. You know, Enzo and Caicedo. Hopefully he'll keep them a bit closer. Yeah, like, fuck, he's going to keep them closer. Nkunku's up front on his own. And I even said before we kick ball, well, if we're going to see the best of Nkunku, we better create for him. Don't expect him to be running around holding balls and doing all this because he's not in a deeper role. He's having to deal with blimmin' Kilman and these big defenders up there. And guess what we did? We set up like that, which wasn't like that, actually, and went into a 4-3-3. Because guess what? Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo, all right? Where is it? Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo. And this looks like we're playing Liverpool, by the way. Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Gallagher. We're back. It looks like we're just playing Liverpool. They even wore red. Just to do a split image of the game for us so that I can analyse it as if they're Liverpool again. Because it's exactly the same game. So Thiago Silva's got the ball here. This Sassy, Gusto, Chilwell's here. So you got your 4 players here. Guess what? Caicedo is the deepest. Trying to receive balls up and across, blah, blah, blah. And guess who the defensive number 10 is? Guess where the defensive number 10 is? He's up there. He's miles away. Look, you could do a punt. You'd have to clear 2 players to hit him. And guess where Enzo is? I'll show you where Enzo is. Guys. You ready? This is where Enzo is. He's up here. Guess what? And I mean, look, don't get me wrong, right? This first goal is on Caicedo still. Because he could have gone back. He didn't have to. But guess what? The guy's probably... He's took too many touches. He could have gone back. He didn't. And I think he's trying to find an opening. He's waiting for someone to come deep, play a ball through, whatever. He ends up getting caught from behind. He loses the ball. But look at the setup again. Who is that here? Who is that? Is that Gallagher? Is that our number 10? Is he over here now? Our defensive 10, who should be here. Here. He's over here. Chilling. So we've got Gallagher over here. We've got Caicedo there. And guess what? Enzo's miles away again. Enzo's between 4 players who can intercept from him. So maybe Enzo's movement needs to go there. Fine. But why is he not in Chilwell's position? Why ain't Chilwell over here? What is this system? Why are we such a mess? Why is it such a mess? Why is it such a mess? Why is it every time Caicedo gets the ball, he's surrounded by 3 men? Why? Like, do you know why? Do you know how bad it is? Do you know how bad it is? I'll tell you how bad it is, right? Wolves turn up to the game, yeah, not playing low block like most teams do, Guess what they did? They turned up and they played their game, their coaching, their system, their style. Yeah. And guess what? They went, F your system. We're just going to do what we do. And what we do is going to be enough to beat you. Do you know how embarrassing that is? Do you know how embarrassing that is as a coach, as a fucking squad, as Chelsea? That teams are rolling up to the bridge, yeah, playing their own systems, forgetting about ours. Nah, theirs is ineffective. On paper, on the day, we're going to beat them. We know what we've got to do. We're drilled. Midfield's non-existent every time. And then they just do it. And then this happens. This is embarrassing. It looked like men against boys yesterday. They looked like the men. The experience, the Premier League know-how, everything was Wolves. We just looked lost. We didn't know what we were doing. All right, there was granted players not playing well again. Yeah, but guess why? Guess why? Because he sets us up every game. Because he missed profiles. Because he plays a defensive 10. We've made a new position in football, a defensive 10. Who's sitting there, by the way? There he is. My mouse is on him. These players are not bad players, guys. They're just not getting coached correctly. They're being misprofiled. They're being asked to do way too much, midfield specifically. And that is why our midfield is not around. It's anonymous. Because it can't do what he wants. But he keeps sticking at it. Go. 4-1. And it's true. The wins that we actually had paper over the cracks. They paper over the cracks. I'm sorry. He keeps sticking to the same shit. Couch, you've got to stop defending this guy, bro. You have to stop. You have to. You have to, bro. You have to stop. You can't be Actually, I need to speak to the panel. I need the panel. 250 people in the building right now. 250 people in the building. Guys, the link's in the chat. The link's in the chat. Get yourselves in. I've just put it in there. Come on, let's go. I've got 45 minutes. I've been talking more than I was expected to. I didn't realise that was the time. The players are subpar. Let's not kid ourselves, but players are subpar because they're young and they're talented players that need managing. They're not bad players. They're players that need to play in the correct positions and stop being misprofiled or being asked to do the opposite of where they're trying to progress. Play them in what they're good at and progress them at what they're good at. Don't play them in what they're not good at and then think I can develop you into that player when they're not even the fucking man at what they do of what they're good at. Master them at what they're good at doing, rather than playing them in the opposite and trying to master them into something they're not. That is literally it. No, David, you're not. You're not. You're not. You can't be Poching. You can't be Poching. If you're around, get yourself on it. I need to hear your comments. I need to hear David's comments. If you're around, David, text me. WhatsApp me. I want to know what David's got to say. What do you mean no one has solutions to our current problems? David, please. Can you explain to me, when you're here, actually bring yourself in here if you're available. Can you explain to me why we do not do the basics? Why can't he just play players in their current positions? Why can't he find a system that benefits what he has? Why does he have to be naive and stick to what he knows? 2015 system. Southampton Spurs. Why can he not adapt? Why is he not adapting for us? No, it's fine. So you're in the chat. But why can't he adapt, bro? Why is he so naive? Why does he stick to this shit? I need to know, which is not working. I need to know, bro. Forward. If he's here, I don't know if he's here. Forward.
I'm here.
I don't know what to say. I mean, the game, Poch, how we doing, bro? I mean, probably should say the same shit, but you've listened to me for the last, nearly 50 minutes talking about the same situation. I mean, tell us, bro. Come on, tell us. Why did we lose so bad yesterday? Come on, why did we lose so bad yesterday? I want to know.
I mean, obviously, I want to keep the conversation circled around obviously Poch and the players, right? It's obviously difficult too when you understand the full picture, which is the board and their decisions have kind of led us to this point where we have a squad that isn't capable of performing at a level that's acceptable at Chelsea and all of these things. But at the same time, the personnel was still good enough to perform better than what we've seen lately and beat Wolves at home. Again, a poor middling Wolves side with very few players that would even get into our squad, let alone first team. And a team that just lost to Man United in the week at home. So they're not a good side. Yet they've come to our park and they've played us off the park. And they played us off the park at a time where we actually play a lineup that is resembling what most fans would want. Two natural fullbacks. I'm going to say 4 attacking players, 3 attacking players, but one of them is a striker that has at least a prolific goal scoring record. And yeah, we still get played off the park. We don't create much for him. But you take the lead, so we actually have a relatively good start. We take the lead, which isn't always normal for us, and yet we still get absolutely blammed out of our boots. And again, it's a lot of tactical mistakes that we've just been seeing throughout the season. Poch's inability to correct things or change things, because again, it's like some things can work. Like Enzo being an 8, it can work in the way that he is. Having sometimes the license to drop deep, that can work. Obviously, we've seen Gallagher in a 10 hasn't really worked much for us at all this season. Again, Caicedo has actually been good in recent weeks. That's been one relatively positive thing. Even though he's cost 120 million, he's been relatively better in recent weeks. But I mean, yesterday the mistakes that he was making were poor. Yeah, he had the great assist, which shows he has got the ability. But then you give away that sloppy ball just after we take the lead. Like, it's just poor. And again, one thing that I want to get off my chest certainly right now is that people now want to say, "Oh, is Enzo that good, or is Caicedo that good?" Relative to all these players are overrated and all this nonsense, right? Which maybe some of them are overrated, but my thing more is the fact that like it's clearly the mentality. The mentality is an issue here because Caicedo clearly has some ability. He clearly has some ability. He showed it for the assist. He showed that in recent weeks, so we know there's ability there. But the mentality of the whole group is shocking. Like it's like there's no sense of urgency going into these games. Like they don't realize that not only are you 10th, you're 10th with Chelsea Football Club. So the urgency to make sure that you pattern things should be at an all-time high, and yet you just don't see that during games. And it's like they're almost lax, and they're like, "Oh, it's okay to make a mistake." You see, even players like Gusto, who I rate, is having a good season for us. He's probably one of the few that you can say, you know what, he's looking value for money. He's making constant mistake after mistake after mistake on the ball in our build-up, and it's like, how are these players just feeling okay to make these mistakes? And what's worse, and where you have to look at Poch, because regardless of how we start games, regardless of how many chances we miss, what's worse about this team is that as soon as we go behind in games, you never get the sense that we're going to pull it back. You never, ever get the sense we're going to pull it back. And against Middlesbrough, when we went behind, we lost. When we went behind in many other games, we lose. Even against Newcastle in the League Cup, where we did actually come back. Did we come back from like a moment of great play? No. It was a shit cross into the box that Modric didn't even attempt to go into. And he gets lucky because Trippier makes a mistake. So again, every time we go behind in games, it's like it's over. And also it's a mentality of the players that they don't seem to be able to pull it out in clutch moments. Part of that's because of the lack of experience in their careers, of course, but also the manager. The manager hasn't got the ability to change games. He hasn't got the ability to give these guys the mentality, the team talks, the inspiration to actually rise it in a game and actually create something and do something. No, we just crumble as always. So again, I can go on and on. Obviously, it's hard to have these conversations without mentioning the board and their inept decisions. But I mean, I've not even finished for time. I said this since the United game. This season's a write-off, and I'm just here to just see how long Poch can keep going about making the job untenable. And now we've reached a point where it's becoming very, very untenable right now. I mean, I don't think we're there yet in terms of he's going to be sacked. Even the reports coming out saying that he will be, but of course, it's looking like that. I mean, even if you're in a cup final, like losing four, I'm going to say 4-1 back to back because I don't count as consolation goal. Conceding 8 goals in a week against Liverpool, but then Wolves at home, like it's unbelievably bad. So, yeah, man, we're in the mud, bro, and we're gonna be here for a while.
Shout out Gem, shout forward, obviously.
Yeah, big up, man, big up.
What can I say, man? What can I say, Jem? I saw Jem. For everyone doesn't know watching, I spoke to Forward. There's a few weeks ago we were in our decent. I think we just started our decent run. I spoke to Jem. This is a Newcastle game at home in the cup, and obviously we got a bit lucky that game. Bit fortunate with Trippier's mistake, but I think that was one of the first times we come back from a game that Forward said. And it was very fortunate. It was not like we earned it that well. It just so happened Trippier made a mistake, and we go through to the next round. The problem is with this club is there's too much going wrong. So you've got players misprofiled, you've got mismanagement, tactics and decisions, you've got poor recruitment overall. Not every single player has been poor, but overall. You've got overhoarding players in certain positions. You've got loads of right wingers, but not many DMs who are good enough. Yeah. And then you've got Poch as a spearhead completely going wrong. Everything he's doing wrong. He's setting the tactics up wrong. The mentality's wrong. And this kind of shows you that he's doing it wrong, where we've actually got worse than last season. And last season we thought it was terrible. We thought it couldn't get worse. We actually thought, Potter coming out and Poch coming in when the manager who's used to young players would start doing better, start improving the players. It's actually got worse, where all four of us in this panel can only say one player's improved, and that name is Cole Palmer. And he wasn't even from our academy or anything. He just came from Man City. Doesn't surprise me at all. So I am not saying that Poch leaving means we're going to all of a sudden go from 11th to 5th and we're going to be solid for the rest of the seasons and we're going to have an upward trajectory and we're going to win Champions League in 2-3 years' time. But what I'm trying to tell you is we need to make sure this next managerial appointment is correct. No more yes men. No more people do not quite nonsense. I heard someone say on a podcast earlier, Jem, they said Emery was shouting at the ref, doing all this. Potter and Poch have the same persona. They just stand around. When things are going wrong, my man doesn't move. He just sits there. That shows you everything you need to know. If that doesn't show everyone in the chat and everyone listening here, that shows you everything you need to know. He doesn't have the passion and the desire, and that feeds onto the players who also don't really care. They don't care either.
So, Ches, who do you think, if we get rid of Pochettino, is the right person in the short term to bring in at this moment in time? What do we need? What do we need for this group of players right now?
I would say here's a problem. You made a good point earlier, which I semi-agree with. You said, I don't trust none of the managers we can bring in. And I hear that to a certain degree. None of them are screaming next Chelsea manager. But what we need is, we need a manager that earns respect. We need a manager where when he comes into the door, everyone goes, rah, I can't be going at nightclubs. I can't be doing all this. Being late for training, 50-50 and get matches, playing out tackles, because he's going to get onto me. Whether that's Mourinho or not, that's another debate. Because I don't think Mourinho coming back would help much, in my opinion. It'd be good for the short term or the long term. But we need a manager to come in, which has the pedigree, who's won stuff, who knows what he's doing, can coach the system, and say, yo, you're meaty, fix up or you ain't playing. You're rubbish, you need to leave the squad. Why is Conor Gallagher playing every single game? Why is Sterling, the Jamaican dumpling, playing week in, week out? He literally got subbed on Wednesday and starts the next game. Does that make sense? Him and Conor got subbed on Wednesday. They start yesterday. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense?
No.
They got benched at half time and they started at home against Wolves. That was the perfect opportunity to drop them. And he plays them. So I want a manager to come in, how I'm talking right now, and say, yo, you man are meaty. This is how we're going to play. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And make it make sense. Don't put Enzo in a 10 with Gallagher and leave Caicedo by himself. Don't have wingers and don't let your fullbacks overlap properly. If players are having poor performances, i.e. Silva, please drop them. I just need someone who's going to be competent at their job and actually demand some sort of respect.
Because what they're all poor.
To me, is that the squad's screaming to me that they don't really have a leader who they're looking at. And yes, the board's fault for not employing like more older players, but the manager could be the leader. He's not on the pitch, but he can lead from the management point of view and motivational point of view. So you know what, guys? You man are young, I get it. But you know what? We're going to do this side of football. We're going to do this. and I want us to achieve this season. And how we're going to do it? This game we're going to play like this, and etc. Yeah, we don't have that.
But can I pick up on that point, because you talk about the lack of leaders in the squad, and it's like it's abysmal that any kind of board would think it's logical to phase out all of your experienced players. And to be for some of that is also on the previous board, but like as a whole, like we phased out everybody that was in their prime or approaching their prime, other than, well, I can't say even Thiago Silva because he's past his prime. Everybody approaching or in their prime has been phased out. But we go from a Rudiger to a Jorginho, etc., Kante, like all these guys, all phased out. And now we're left with all of these guys, and who are experienced players on the pitch. Raheem Sterling, who's at best going to be like a flipping third piece, or maybe like a decent second piece to like a three-prong attack. He can't be the main guy in your attack. He's not that guy. And you look at Chilwell and Thiago Silva, who again, as a balance on the left-hand side, is absolutely what you don't want to see. You got Chilwell bombing on, leaving so many spaces in behind for somebody like a Neto to exploit. That, of course, a 39-year-old Thiago Silva will look like a 39-year-old defender in the Premier League. Of course, he's going to get exposed. And tactically, that's appalling that Poch would even think of that balance would work. That balance is never going to work. And again, they're meant to be the experienced guys in the team, and they like have so many faults individually in their game that, of course, it doesn't help the team. And then who's going to lead the team by example, let alone with their words? Who's going to actually lead this team by example? Right now, it's looking like Cole Palmer.
Yeah, but again,
the kid that we bought, a signing that fell into our hands is now the guy that's meant to be leading this team. Like, come on, bro. Like,
no, but even so on that point here, Jem, what I want to touch on with forward is that even though I'm saying there's no experience in the squad, there's players, for example, in Wolves or in teams around us, who the quality of players are looking at aren't as good as Chelsea's on paper, but they still work as a team. And the reason why they're able to do that is because they're looking at someone like Kilman, who's a good centre-back, but he's not world-class, but they still respect him because he listens to the manager, he does what the manager says, and he works hard for the team. He leads by example. None of our players are doing that. So I'm not going to sit here and say none of the players have gone wrong and they're not being naive and some of them are working hard. But my thing is, if I'm a manager and I own a business and my employees aren't working hard, that's on me because I've employed them, A, and B, I need to motivate them in some sort of way or form.
It feels like Potter 2.0, the way that he sits around. I spoke to some friends from the ground and they said that he literally sat down 90% of the game with his hands crossed, a bit like Potter, but Potter used to stand up with his hands like that, literally crossed, just staring. Exactly the same thing, which just tells me he has no backup, guys. He has no plan B, he has no, and you can't even say now, we can't even say that it didn't have options. We can't. He's just for me seriously misprofiling. He continues to do so. I don't think he's understanding. He's not sticking to a system, in my opinion. He's just not. He's just putting it here, there, and everywhere. And we'll try this 1 week. And
I feel like he's stuck to a system. It just hasn't worked, and he hasn't got the ability to change it. I feel like a lot of things has been similar to we started the season with, and it's just not changed. Like that's the problem as well.
Why did he change his pre-season system and just throw it in the bin because Nkunku got injured? That's what I don't get. Why did he just throw it in the bin and then just go, right, we're going to try something else, going straight into the beginning of the season? I don't get some of the judgments that he's made, to be quite honest with you. But Hassan, how you doing, man?
How you guys been, man? It's been a while. It's just shambolic, really. It's from top to bottom. The recruitment, it just shows that the recruitment, the tactics, the players, all of this is not good enough. And I just saw this start yesterday. I thought we were actually doing just a little bit better than what Potters was last season, but it's turning out to be a lot more worse. And it shows, really. It just shows. I just don't know what to say anymore. Like, I want to give Poch to the League Cup final, but these last two results have been. I do not know what to say about Poch anymore. I've completely lost trust in him, and I don't want to, in my opinion, as of things right now, and based on the last two results, I don't want him in that final. I think that he should go, but I just got a feeling it's going to be Potter 2.0 again. I think either Bowley or one of the boards or whoever. The only reason why I'm saying Bowley is because that's what the reports were saying. But whichever ones that want Poch in are going to probably give him to the cup final. And if he loses, then they're going to sack him. But I feel like that's going to be too late. I think the cup final is going to be the only positive this season that we could actually take home, and the only probably realistic trophy that we could actually take at the moment. But Yeah, I just don't know what to say when both the experienced players and the inexperienced players are all being quite shit or quite poor at the moment. It's just I don't know. I just don't know how this club's gonna progress anymore. And I'll always say this to the people: trust the progress rather than trust the process. That's what we have been. We've always been results based, and he's for me. He's just done too many sackable offense for my liking to actually warrant him the next couple of games. But I just don't know what the board's gonna do. Will Bowley take the L? Will Bowley like swallow his pride and pull the trigger? Guess we don't know until we find out.
Yeah, but it's like you know pulling the trigger. But this is the issue that they have. I think they've got to act, because leaving him on to the end of the season, because in theory there ain't no real good alternatives for someone to come in and just be like a sub manager is a problem in itself. Fine, I get that, but at the same time, if the players have lost respect, if the players are not, you can see, not being able to play in the way that he wants to play, he's not able to adapt his systems, which he keeps showing every game, and we keep suffering. We're going to go to Villa away. I guarantee he's going to play the exact same crap, yeah, and we're going to get slapped again, and it's going to keep happening because he's just too. He's too fixated around, and I get it. He has a system; it's worked in the past for him. Bearing in mind he hasn't won anything, in other clubs or whatever. But it's not working here. Like, you need to tweak it, bro. Like, you need to stop doing certain things. Can't you see with this? Look, like he doesn't show any like. Right, I can see what the problem is. Let me just maybe tweak what I'm trying to do a bit. Maybe I can still play what I'm doing, but if I do this and I do that, let's just try something a little bit different and see if I ever go. He doesn't. He just goes Enzo up there, Gallagher up there. Fucking couch. What do you want to say, my boy? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm
You good? You happy? You happy right now?
I'm good. I'm enjoying life. I just took my kid to school. He's went to a birthday party yesterday, had some good times. So yeah, life is good over here. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy I enjoy the other aspects of life, right? So football's important and whatnot, but it's not what's really going to be stopping me from enjoying the other aspects of life that I have right now. And I say that to say this: like, we have to be able to stomach pain. Okay, we just have to be able to. We've been breastfed short-termism for way too long, and maybe that's just the mentality of the club. Like, maybe we can't escape that. Maybe we just have to be, switching managers every 6 months, switching up this, switching up that in order to be Chelsea Football Club. And maybe that's something I have to just come to accept, that when it comes to giving things time to see what happens, we're just not able to do that, right? And that very well could be true. That very well could be true. We just don't have the mentality that says, 6 months ain't enough time. 7 months ain't enough time. We have to stomach the pain and just go through it. Maybe that's just where we are. I'm fine with that. I thought that this might have been different because regardless of what manager's been in charge, it's been the exact same thing. It's been the exact same thing. Tuchel was struggling when we had injuries and whatnot. He divided the fan base when he was here. He left. We brought in Potter. Everyone thinks that he's going to be the savior, this fresh ideas, had Brighton playing some decent football. He lasts, 6 months or something like that. He's gone. We bring in this guy who I didn't want. Let's just be honest. I didn't want this guy for the reasons that I was fine with them firing Potter.
Yeah.
For the same reason why I didn't want Potter, because I just feel like you have to have somebody that has a pedigree of winning. Like, show me that you've won things at the highest level. And going from Potter to Pochettino, the problem that I have with it is I just didn't want to have a repeat of last year, where we don't hit the ground running, we don't see the amazing things that we're supposed to see because we spent $1 billion or whatever it is. And then the terraces start kicking off because they're upset because we're not winning, and it's all just falling on the manager, and it's the Spurs manager as well. This guy's not won anything. I just didn't want to. I wanted to avoid that altogether. I'd rather just bring somebody else in that has the trophies that people cannot dispute. That's what I was thinking. We went with Poch, and for whatever reason, we haven't been able to hit the heights. There's a multitude of reasons, but for the most part, we can all say that we have not hit the heights, right?
Couch, the thing is, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, yeah, but
I'm not even done, but yeah, go on.
go on, bro. I'll let you land your point because I wanted to just wanted to make one point on what you just said about the winning manager. I don't even think it's a situation right now where we're in need of a winning manager because we're not ready to win. What it is right now is that we just need a competent manager, bro. That's all we need, bro.
Okay, so
just to stabilize things, bro.
But here's where I go with that, though, and this is kind of where I was going with it. Stabilization for me doesn't happen in 4, 5, 6, 7 months.
No,
I really feel like stabilization takes a few years before you stable an idea. And the problem that we have right now is that we do not want to give anybody any length of time if we see things falling off the rails.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. Okay, so look at Arsenal. Look at Arsenal when they hired what's his face. How many years were people have them as the laughing stock saying they need to sack this guy? Look at Klopp when he came into Liverpool. Same thing, right? Just all sorts of people saying this guy is not going to be able to lift this club to the heights that it needs to be at.
So you think we should give Poch 2-3 years?
No. You can see what they're both trying to do, though. You can see what they're both trying to do.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything from. Well, we can say that now, but we didn't see anything because
I was saying it at the time. I was saying it at the time.
Their own fan base was complaining about those managers, all of them.
Yeah, it got to a point where Arteta was underperforming. But when you watch their games, because I disagree with what you've got, bro. You're saying certain things about Arteta at the time, but what I'm saying is at that time you could clearly see what he was trying to do. But it's the players that he had at the time, the Mustafis, the David Luizes, and that they couldn't play how he wanted them to, bro. Playing out for the back, Leno, all these guys were shocking. And the same thing as Klopp, my man still had Moreno and all of these guys, bro. He had to get them out and get his players in, bro. You can see what he was trying to do, both of them.
Can I just say that obviously, let's say in a hypothetical world that it did work with Poch in 2-3 years' time. I mean, we could then look back at this season and be like, oh, you know what, the metrics at the start of the season were actually good. You could see what Poch was trying to do, right? So you could make the argument. But I would just say that kind of counteracts a little bit what Couch is trying to say. Not that I'm trying to get at him. It's just a case of like, obviously, where Klopp brought Liverpool from, where Arteta picked up Arsenal from, it's different to where Chelsea were under Tuchel, and then obviously when Potter and King came in, because we were spending millions straight away on big names, even though they were all youngsters, cool, but on big names. Enzo Caicedo, like Arteta and Klopp didn't get to spend 200 million on the midfield straight away. So obviously the expectations are different. And I get what Couch trying to say, that you need to give managers time. But at the same time, like I don't think like we should accept us falling off the rails. I don't think we should accept falling off the rails to then see progression long term.
I just say something else as well that's very different.
Let me just jump in.
Couch makes one sec. I've got a point which is kind of.
I'm not saying anything. I'm listening now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to let you land as well. I want to let him land. I know Couch does to speak. I know he does to talk. But it's gonna make you make sense why people disagree with you. The difference is Arteta and Klopp have now become managers. So what that means is they are in control of recruitment or have a say in recruitment as well as what happens on the pitch. Our coach, no pun intended, Couch, won't be that. He will literally just play with the players on the pitch. He's not going to have much say in recruitment, and that's just how it's going to be, unfortunately. If you want to disagree with that, that's cool, but that's not what's going to happen at Chelsea Football Club anymore. We've got too many people upstairs. So we need a good, competent coach to get these players improving. We don't need a manager like Klopp and Arteta to come in and do this whole rebuild thing and do all this fantasy land. And look, we're at the promised land now. That rubbish talk. Arsenal haven't won nothing yet. Don't mention Arteta's name. Yeah, exactly. I want a club, a coach, that's going to come in, be competent like a Flick, for example, and say what he needs to say and get the players improving. We've seen no players improve other than one. That's not good enough.
A guy is not good enough for the club. A guy that don't start for no one else, man.
Honestly, I'm talking about Palmer.
Guys,
Palmer. That was for the Pep, bro.
One thing, I'll let Showtime go after me. I just want to say one thing. A manager always comes with tools. And when I talk about tools, it's not about, yes, they need to bring in their own players, but they also got to be able to do things on the pitch. And, and to determine what I believe is an elite top manager, a manager has to be able to problem solve. A manager must be able to have, other systems. A manager must be able to, find the best at what he has, in my opinion, and make things work. He's not showing any of them. we need progression, and whether if it's slow progression, yeah, but we're not getting none. We're getting regression. We're getting depression. That's what we're getting. Yeah, we're not seeing any. People go with like style of play. He's trying to do something because that's his system, but he's just too naive to accept that he needs to implement changes to it and do things different. And that reminds me of blaming the whole Graham Potter situation because it was the same shit. So, like, this is why I don't feel he's going to get. That's why I don't think it's going to work with him at this moment in time because he's not showing that he can adapt. He's not adapting at the moment.
And that's a key point that you've made there, Jem. He's persisted with something which hasn't worked all season, bro. And like you've said, now it's a virus which is spread across the whole team. Because even when we was winning those games, bro, I said, bro, I'm saying more bad things than good things after these wins. Yeah. The other week, Charlie put a TikTok up of me when we beat Newcastle. Yeah, when I was with Ches, bro. You would have thought if you watched that video that we lost the game because I was criticizing this man. Yeah, Mudryk saved him in that last second, but overall that game it was bad, bro. It was bad. And these wins that we've been getting have been papering over the cracks. Rivals will look at that and say, "Oh, but you guys have been winning though." This is where, as Chelsea fans, we need to speak up and say, "Bro, what I've been watching has not been good enough." We was going back and forth with Couch, with how we've been playing in terms of the Palmer false nine. Couch was saying how we can still create like that. I said, yes, not sustainable. That's just a plus. Pressing to get chances is just a plus. We should be able to create good enough chances over 90 minutes, play well over 90 minutes in order to win these games because we've got good players, bro. And the reason why I'm officially now Poch out is because yesterday, bro, one of his key players that he's been banging on about, oh, well, we've had injuries. We've had this, we've had that. Nkunku started yesterday, bro. And Nkunku was a hologram. He was a hologram. And why was he a hologram? Because he decided to start Gallagher, the guy that can't create nothing in that position. The guy that he took off at halftime against Liverpool because he stunk. The guy that falls over every single time it's time to create for someone. You had Cunha, you could have played there. You got an assist last game. Why could he not start? Yeah, don't tell me about no fitness because he's been back for weeks. You had Palmer that could have played there, right? And you could have played someone else on the wing because Sterling's been stinking at the place. You had fucking Nkunku you could have played there and started Jackson. Jackson's barely played in AFCON, bro. Why is he on the bench? We play better with him. People like to get onto Jackson, but we play better with him. Why is he not starting? He did miss a header. We know his finish is not good, but we play better with him, Jem. That's the point that I'm making, right? There were so many other options he could have gone with yesterday, but once again, he brings back these underperforming players. If it was up to me, Ben Chilwell doesn't play yesterday. He doesn't play yesterday. But end of the day, he's the only left back that we had, so he had to play. And I've been banging on about imbalanced lineup, so that's a given. And he's the captain. Yeah, he's the captain, whatever you want to call him, right? But Sterling, that left-hand side, it stunk. It just reeks. They're the grenade boys. They get the ball and they can't control it, bro. There's no patterns on that side. Sterling, it looks like he's checked out. Honestly, I'm watching him the past few weeks. It's like he doesn't give a shit. And he's collecting 3-2-5. Bro, he does not. That guy does not give a shit about this club, bro. In summer, get rid of him. And this is coming from a guy that's always said. This is coming from a guy that's always said Sterling has been disrespected over the years in the Prem. For me, top 10 Prem wingers in history, right? The numbers and everything, the longevity speaks for itself. But right now, where we are as a club, we cannot be looking at him to depend on this guy, bro, because he is not that guy and he never has been that guy to be dependent on. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying this for time, bro. And this is and we're being shown why. We're being shown why. How can you have one of the best midfields on paper in the league? Do you know how many managers would love to work with these, man, bro? And he's got rivals talking crazy on them, bro. Talking crazy on them.
Like even in comments saying we're not good enough. It's not true.
Do you know what I'm saying? We got this guy's up. He's got a goal.
Have a break, Don. Have a break, mate. You sound like you're about to pass out, mate. I know the feeling. Trust me. Showtime. What you got to say, and then we'll go to Javi, innit? Let's go.
Thank you for having me. It's been a while. Big ups to all you men on the panel and stuff. I mean, for me, I look at it from the outside looking in from upstairs. It starts with the inconsistency from the board and the people that took over. We haven't been consistent since then. We haven't won anything. We haven't done anything. So now when Couch was saying that we've been spoiled, yes, we have been spoiled, but we also, that new regime that came in tried to implement the Abramovich philosophy in which we have a manager for 6 months, then we bring in one of Frankie Lampard, and he does nothing, and then we bring in this guy, Mourinho, Pochettino. I mean, for us, it's just inconsistencies from top to bottom. It can start from the manager, but you got to start from the board. They've been inconsistent as well. All these players that they bought, what exactly did you consult with the manager before you brought all these players in? How did they fit into his system and his style of play? I think we do need to give the manager some time. Let him flush out the players that he doesn't need, like likes of Sterling. I think even Ben Chilwell wearing the captain badge is a bit disrespectful to the Chelsea history. We never had a player like him wear a badge and play so poorly in the past 2 matches. He's been iffy, and he just came back from injury as well. He has to earn it. I just think that it's just inconsistency all around. I don't know how Chalobah is still in his rehabilitation program for how long. I think they need to steamroll him to get back in and have who has experience playing in the Prem. I think that back line needs a little bit more help. I think Thiago Silva getting these many runs of games is just not suitable for his 39-year-old age. The midfield, I think when we let go of so many players that had experience like N'Golo, we should have kept N'Golo at least and kept one of those midfielders that we had and let them teach these Caicedo and Enzo how to really play in the midfield in the Premier League and what it takes. I think letting all these players go was just wrong. I think it's just iffy all over the place. And Nkunku started yesterday, but it didn't give us nothing. So I mean, Sterling, he has to go. I mean, he should have been gone since last year. I don't know why we kept him. He wasn't giving us anything. He's not giving. He wasn't giving. He won't be giving. He's just a waste man. Basically, how the Jamaicans say he's a waste man. So that's about it.
Javi.
He's whatless. That's what we say. He's whatless, isn't it? Now I just wanted to comment on. I think what Couch is saying, we don't have the patience or stomach like a rebuild. I think this is like the best time for us to finish like 5th, 6th, 7th, and nobody really complains. But the fact that we're finishing 11th, that's like telling us to get punched in the face and be like, "Oh, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better." It's not like going to the gym.
It's not. We're not finished though. We're not finished though. Just listen.
But bro, it's like you don't have.
I'm just saying we're not finished yet though, right? Like we're not finished yet. Yeah.
But we're going in a downward spiral, bro. Like you're just gonna watch us free fall?
That's what
it makes no sense. Like we just lost to Liverpool 4-1, and he can't motivate on the basics to come out with some fight with a healthier squad at home to Wolves. We haven't lost since 1970s. We get smacked doing the same things we did the previous game. It's just the basics that he's not getting right. He looks like he's lost like almost half that dressing room. They're not buying into what he's preaching.
Wolves has 6 points over us, bro. They have 6. Keep spitting.
Like, look at this. The teams we lost to, right? We lost about 10 matches, right? We win 3 of those, which is like, say, Nottingham Forest at home. At least one of the Wolves games, right? Are Bournemouth. That's 9 points right there. We're on 40. No one's complaining. I guarantee no one's complaining. We're gonna be on 40 points, bro. But we're now on 31. What are we? 31 points. And if you look the run after Crystal Palace, can you really say to yourself that he's just automatically going to change things drastically to where he's going to get this team kicking and get results out of those games? Even the games that we have got results over, I'm still like, you know me, bro. We've been on the timeline, bro. I still go into even when I'm winning to be like, what does this guy do in training? He has, even before we had the 2 games a week, right? He has 1 game a week, and I'm like, okay, Monday through Friday, he has that stretch of time to implement something. I guess this is his tactic, having Enzo bomb up Caicedo on his own. Like he did the same thing again in the Wolves game. Like I understand Caicedo should be getting the ball off quicker, but the man is swarmed with like 4 players and leaves on the island on his own, just like the Liverpool game. Obviously, he didn't learn from his past mistakes, and he's not learning from his past mistakes. Why do we need to wait until like the end of the season he'll get it right? We can, and he's not learning, bro. So it's like, why not fix what we can now and regroup in the summer? I think to me, the reason why I say Poch out now, I think he lost the dressing room. I think they're not receptive to what he's saying, so he's not even going to be able to implement his changes. These guys' heads are lost.
Who do you bring in short-term notice? Like, who's
bro? You got Flick. You got players. You got managers out there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing is the only best fit is John Terry, who's working with the club. That's it. You're not bringing nobody else.
Let's stop with that talk, please. Let's stop with that John Terry Fan Lampard talk, please, guys.
They're gonna bring in. They're gonna play Gallagher and shit like that. I don't know.
We're not doing that.
You can't have this mentality of who do we bring in, man. You
Bring in
can't.
anybody.
You honestly can't have that mentality,
That's
man.
not our job, bro. But to
But
me,
then
I'm
again,
like,
in the next 3 months, we'll say, okay, we need another manager right after. It doesn't.
Yeah,
it just,
but that doesn't mean we stick with the one that's taking the shit though.
This is not the Abramovich era anymore, where we have
No. But here's what I'll say to it. Yeah, I said this. I think yesterday to Don and them, man. I said, how many managers actually come in and get it right first time? How many managers come into a club and the club sticks to that guy and it turns out right? I can only name you on my hand how many times that worked at the top flight level. Even Liverpool had to go through a little process. Look at Man City. So it's not playing the whole game of, that means you have to sack another manager. Yes, it does. I have standards. I want to win. And
I will say this: look at the clubs with the most successful period of spells and how many managers they had. Bayern gets rid of theirs, the most successful in Germany. We used to get rid of ours, most successful here. Real Madrid rarely had a manager that last over 3 seasons. They're the most successful in theirs. If you start to look at it, there is a strong correlation.
Handed over to somebody that has no experience in the football history.
No, we can't do that. It has to be for me with a bit of experience.
It has to be remember, we were sold to another person to come in and change everything, bro.
To be honest with you, this whole
I don't want Deserbi either.
Yeah, and they're talking about this guy from what's his name, Girona, that guy, whoever he is as well. Like again, this is just not like we're just punching in the air again. Oh, let's just try it with this one that's got no experience and give him a chance. We're just going to have the same problem, mate. We need a manager that's got experience, that demands respect in the changing room, that has a system, but also can adapt to what he has in. And like I said to you, if I'm Todd Bowley and Egbally, I'm sitting down with whoever it is that's going to take over after Poch, if it gets to that point, and actually just drill him about every little intricate thing in any scenario, in what scenario, like the scenarios we've been in, and say to him, give me an idea of what you would do with what we currently have to your disposal. How would you work around these things? What would you do?
Okay, what if they interview a manager and the manager says, "Oh, you have too many inexperienced players. Sell half of them."
But they did, because Nagelsmann didn't just turn it away because he didn't want to take on the project. It already happened. It's already happened. So, like Aziz, thank you for the donations. I don't go to the games no more, is what he says. Big up to you. Thank you for the donation.
Do you think the club will actually sell off those inexperienced players for less of what they spent on them, just so they
won't sell inexperienced players?
Just so you guys know, what you guys are suggesting right now is just making us more of a joke. No top manager is going to come to this club knowing that they're on a 6-month term before they get sacked again. All right. So just understand that first. We are an absolute joke right now. The sporting directors that we have right now employed, none of them have won. Absolutely none of them have won. And we keep on looking at, we have to change the manager. The whole structure of this club right now is full of losers. And we're expecting a manager to come in and change all of that.
But we said about the we know that the two have to go.
The entire structure that is wrong right now. We don't have winners at the director level. We don't have people that have put together a squad that knows how to win. That's first.
I agree with this. This is not nothing I don't agree with. Right now.
On the couch, Jem, I know you all agree with that, but at the same time, football isn't that black and white. Because what I would say, is people are still upset at FSG, no? When people saying Glazer's out, literally a few years ago? When people saying Kroenke's out a few years ago? Things change because of managers sometimes. Sometimes football just isn't as black and white as that. Arsenal fans literally 2-3 years ago were all Kroenke out. Everyone was. And now all of a sudden, do you hear Kroenke out anymore? No.
Yeah, but then again, you got to realize
they bring in as the director?
They would never, just because fans are unhappy, they wouldn't be forced to sell because
who do they bring in as the director?
You're missing my point, though. You're missing my point. My point isn't that. My point isn't that we should keep Poch or sack Poch. When you're saying the club from the top to bottom, the sample size is too small to say that. So I can't.
No, it's not. If you're saying that the manager, if the sample size is not too small for the manager, then where's the record and the pedigree with the directors?
No.
Where's the pedigree there?
No. There's different
what, Brighton and fucking what was the other guy from Monaco? Come on.
Funny thing is, the manager that we currently have to our disposal right now has more experience, supposedly, than what we have above us.
Exactly.
And this is why you get held to a hand.
There's a different threshold.
And let's not act as if my man's still out here trying to work with Ziyech and the Mounts and the Havertz and the Kovacic, all
Like
these
a
guys that wanted to get out.
like
This guy has got a good enough squad to work with right now. We're not even asking for him to go and win the league. We're just asking for him to literally get us back into Europe and stabilize us.
Those players
Stabilize us.
Way more experience than those players.
Yeah, but they're shit. But they're shit, bro. I don't care about experience if they're not good enough. I don't care about that.
You need experience.
That's what I was going to say. You need experience.
Sterling and Chilwell's experience is helping us, ain't it? Sterling and Chilwell's experience is helping us, ain't it? Allow it, man.
I think when we're saying experience, we need leaders.
Hello.
Okay. I think when we're talking about
his Wi-Fi clubbed on him.
Yeah. I think when we're talking about leaders, we're talking about experienced leaders. Not just people that can just who have been collecting a paycheck for the last 10 years. I need somebody that can come into the squad and be the extension of the manager and like galvanize this team. And to be honest with you, this whole idea about the manager, like I put out a video, you guys check it out. I'll send it to you guys in the link or whatever. But the whole idea is when you're hiring a manager, you have to identify what it is you want the club to resemble. And that manager has to have that in their temperament and their DNA. If you want a ruthless, cutthroat, win at all cost manager, then you have, or all cost team, then you have to have that in the manager. If you have a manager, if you bring in the manager because you think that he's good at coddling youth and, working with young players and whatnot, then expect the growing pains that come with it. Don't expect to turn water to wine overnight. Throughout Poch's career, his first year is always his worst. Just so you know, it's always his worst. It's the second year where you start seeing changes and improvements. Same thing can be said for Jose, for that matter. Jose usually goes for a title challenge in his second year. That's his best year. So all this idea about chopping and changing managers after 6 months, 7 months, he's not good enough. He's not good. It's not going to get us out of the mire. We're going to have to stomach the abuse that's coming at us right now and give it some time. That's where I stand on this right now.
I agree with
that. But the thing is, like, you need to see. But the thing is, though, like,
right now there is neither here nor there for me.
Wait, hold on. Let me come in there, please, because if I can, like, again, I hear what Couch is saying, so I'm not like what you're saying isn't outlandish, but it's like you need to see a certain level of progress, because I get it. Like, you can have a first season that isn't at the highest level. You can maybe underperform a little bit, but this level of underperforming is making your job, for me, it's becoming almost untenable. And it's like, how can that be acceptable? Like, are we seeing enough in this Maya to suggest that he can actually pull it back in season 2? Because to me, I'm looking at it like, probably not. Just to be clear, like, I'm not Poch out right now. Like, at this moment, like, I would maybe give him another game or two and just see, because I don't think it's reached the point of it being completely untenable. But like I've been saying since the United game, I would have already been looking for a replacement in the summer, because he doesn't look like he's going to be that guy. And I feel like you need to see enough in that first season. So again, I bring it back to Couch. What have we seen in?
What is that guy supposed to be at this point? What is he supposed to be?
A guy's meant to be somebody who can actually take this club, take this team, I should say, this personnel, and actually improve them more visibly to our eyes, because what we've seen so far isn't enough. Like 11th place at this point with this team, yes, it's got faults. We've been talking about it since the summer that this team has got faults. It's lacking obviously of leaders, of goal scorers, of experience. Cool, we're lacking all of those things. I get it, but it's not enough lacking. And even with the injuries, again, on top of that, to be 11th, to be losing 6 points to Wolves over a season, to get battered by Brentford at home, to not win at home against teams like Forest, Villa, and all these other teams. That's not acceptable.
I was going to say something more forward as well, just to give Couch a bit more like substance as well. Is that there's even between like blind faith and faith. Your point actually makes sense. Like, we can all agree with you. You don't just sack someone when it doesn't go right. But what I'm trying to say, and what most people are trying to say, is that like there's a certain threshold you can't go below where it gets a bit ridiculous. And Potter had that where it was getting really, really bad. Or losing like game in, game out. Tactics were poor and whatever. And that's why people want him out. I don't think Chelsea fans would be saying get Poch out if he was sitting like 8th on 40 points like my guy said before, and we're competing. And the teams around us we're better than them, but we're just
not getting embarrassed in big games.
We're not getting embarrassed.
Okay, guys. Okay, so
one second.
Who do you bring in now? Okay, just answer me this one question, okay? Because like, there's no manager that's going to come in and give you what you desire right now. There's nobody. No manager's going to want to come.
Wait, but sorry, Couch, you don't think there's a manager who could have had us 8th in the table right now?
You're saying there's no manager who could have put us higher than 11th? Is that what you're telling me? This team's 11th place.
Guys, there's so many mitigating factors as to why we are where we are right now.
Answer the question. Is this team 11th in the Premier League? Yes or no?
Is this team? We are. The table don't lie, man.
So yes, you think we're 11th place team then?
I don't think that we've improved much from last year.
So according to your logic, if we bring anybody in, we shouldn't improve. Is that correct?
Bro, what I'm telling you is the reasons why we are where we are is not specifically down to the manager.
Well,
that's why we say it needs more time.
No one disagrees with that point, though. But we're saying the manager.
But then how can you be making the point of firing then if you agree with that point?
Because there's a certain. Oh my days! I just told you why. Because there's a certain threshold you can't go below. Why are we 11th? We're 11th place, bro. Are you deep in that? We're normalizing it.
I think you're still in the philosophy of the Abramovich era, bro, where we just
nobody's in that philosophy, bro.
My days.
Abramovich is for getting top 4 and all of that, bro. Nobody's saying that, bro. Because
we're 11th and we're making our players look bad.
Like,
and they don't even look bad.
Making themselves
like,
look
bad. Growing pains, right?
They don't show the heart. The captain is not a captain, and he's not encouraging players. Thiago Silva, if you look at him, he looks frustrated and fed up with just everybody on the pitch. You even had Gallagher yesterday after he made a tackle scream, and he don't need to be screaming at nobody with the way he's been playing.
Literally.
You know what's funny? Where is Jem, by the way? Is he just gone? Okay, anyhow.
He had enough.
I wanted to pull up like Bobby Fairview's point. This is exactly what I'm saying. And this is exactly a part of the reason why I was talking about the directors and whatnot. Nobody wants to admit that we've assembled a poor squad. Like, there's no balance in this team.
But
everyone's just like, well, we spent $1 billion. We spent $1 billion on what exactly? The exact same position. How many times over?
Exactly.
You know, how many times have we gone in the market and tried to buy center backs? And
it's funny because months ago we rated the Windows 10 out of 10.
What is our center back pairing right now? What is our preferred center back playing? Is it good enough? You know, you look at our wingers. What is our preferred wingers? Who are our preferred wingers? How much money we spent in those positions? All of them do the exact same thing. All of them dribble. None of them look to, combine 1-2s. None of them look to make the pass before they shoot. These are problems with the construction of the squad. This is not the manager.
Yeah, that's bro. First of all, last year I think, or the year before, who we had, Jorginho and Kovacic, right? We had an imbalance in the midfield. People were screaming at me. My son. We need a balance in the midfield, like Enzo and Caicedo, right? Everybody was saying, we need a someone who balances out Enzo. We got Caicedo. Nobody can tell me that midfield is 11th place midfield. Nobody can tell me. You're not getting the best out of that midfield. That's a managerial issue. We're lack of motivation. It's not just the problem we're seeing on the field, bro. It's just, how can we not be motivated after a 4-1 defeat, after Wolves at home? That's a managerial issue. Like, nobody's not saying like the sporting directors are not trash, because they are, but that doesn't mean we still stick with a problem in Poch, because a decent 7th, 6th position in the table, all right, we still have problems, but we won't be complaining as to this bad. Don't mean
that would be exceeding expectations based on the squad that we have right now, as far as I'm concerned. It's not.
That would be big.
While I agree with you, just let me finish. While I agree with you that like the midfield is a big issue, and that's something that he needs to sort out. Absolutely, there's no reason why Enzo, Caicedo, even if you throw I don't care if Gallagher is playing, to be honest with you, because I don't think that he defines wins and losses for us, and I've been saying that for a while now. If those two people, if the amount of money that we spent on that midfield, if they cannot finally play as a strong pivot and whatnot, then that's on the manager. 100%. He has to find a way to build around that, because that is where the fundamentals of the team is basically assembled. So I agree with that 100%. He's not faultless in any of this. I'm just saying that the idea of just like sacking manager, and expecting to see a change every time is not really what we're going to see. We're not going to see that, okay? And we're not going to be able to get any managers to come in based on this idea of hire and fire. We're not.
I mean, let me just say, I'm all for sacking these DOF as well, because these DOFs, like the job that they've done and the players that they brought in, this recruitment strategy isn't working. It's appalling, and I wouldn't mind even changing that right now. I'd be all for that as well. Obviously, we're just talking just on the manager right now, but of course, like top to bottom, the board, this club, it's being run poorly, and we can all speak on it. And like we've all seen it, and what's crazy to me is that like even in the short term period, like we're seeing now, like the whole transfer strategies around bringing in young players so that they develop, their value grows, and you can either sell them on for more or whatever, like, or you just already have top players at your club, and you didn't have to actually buy them for what they would be worth maybe in 2 or 3 years' time. But when everybody's underperforming now, other than maybe Gusto's maybe kept his value, Palmer's obviously raised his value, everybody else is depreciating. Everybody else is going down in value, and that's a horrible sign on these DOFs, the board. And again, obviously, ultimately, the manager as well, who's not getting the best out of these players. So it's a top to bottom issue, and it's got to be corrected soon, because otherwise we're going to end up on a 10-year drought like Man United, a 30-year drought like Liverpool went through. And Chelsea should not be going through that. With the position that we were in, there's no reason for us to go on a drought like that. It's unacceptable.
Okay, but you got to let go of that now, though, because like it's not about, it's how you get out of it now. It's not about where we were and how we were allowing it. Because I feel like that when you have that mentality, it's forcing you to think that this is the same situation that we're in right now, and it's not. It's completely different. You know, they basically rebuilt this team from ground up without any leaders. You know, they basically just used data to assemble this team and not look for character. And that, to me, is what the problem is right now. We don't have any.
That's why I would have them gone.
No character.
But do you think that wants to get better under Poch, though? That's the thing. It's getting worse.
Yeah, but again, that's only part of the problem, though, Chad.
But I'm not. But and nobody.
You keep on harping on this one thing. What about the entire structure of the club right now? Look at what's happening in this club.
I'm focusing on
the easiest decision right now is to fire Poch. That's the easiest thing. Yeah. Does that get us out of the problem that we're in right now? No.
No, but it can
like
help.
Putting a band-aid on a gunshot.
Though. I guarantee fans complain less when there's results. That's 100% fact. You get over that, and then you get in the summer, and then you reassess, because we're not going to fire the sporting directors and Poch. Who is
Shavi? I've got a question for Coach.
I think we can fire both.
Hold on.
I would.
Hold on forward.
A winner at the director level, somebody that's built winning teams.
Hold on, Coach. I've got a question for you. Wait, Coach. I've got a question.
Never let Marina go.
Showtime. Relax.
No, she was
Couch. I've got a question for Couch.
Couch. I hear you.
Showtime. Relax, bro. Couch. Yeah. What I want to ask you. I just heard you backstage saying, what do you call it? What did you say? You said finishing top 6 is exceeding expectations. Do you believe that? You believe that if with this squad right now, finishing top 6 is exceeding expectations?
Don, you heard me from the beginning of the year. What did I say? We're not ready yet, right?
So where would you think? Okay, so going back at it then. So where does this team finish?
That's about where we are. 7th or 8th right now. That's where we are.
Listen, if you go back to majority of the losses that we've had this year, a lot of them has been down to how this manager set us up. There's been a few examples of where we've been missing chances, like Nottingham Forest, where Jackson literally missed an open goal. There's a few chances I can give you. Nottingham, when we played Brentford in that first half, we should have been at least 2 goals up by half time. Sterling missing again for the millionth time. There's a few examples I can give you, but Wolves away. But I can give you more examples where this manager has set us up incorrectly, or during the game, he has not been good enough and hasn't been able to find solutions in order to break down these teams that we've lost to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as much as you believe it's exceeding expectations, I'm sorry, I've got to disagree with that. Because this year, bro, if you look at the teams, I didn't finish my point.
One point, because I think this is an important thing to tie in here.
I didn't finish my point. I didn't finish my point on what I'm saying.
One second, just let me just jump on this one thing, okay? Because like I feel like this is where, because at the same time, you said that we picked up points where we didn't deserve to, right? We've done that as well, right?
We have done that, but that's not sustainable, and you can see why we're getting battered again.
That's exactly my point, though.
Yeah, but it's not sustainable.
You say that we've missed points because we didn't score goals. We've also gained points that we didn't deserve either.
But we've gained points in a way that is not sustainable, and that is why we've been battered twice in 1 week, bro. That is the point that I'm making. Yeah, so you can make that point as much as you want, but the overarching point about picking up results and not playing well is that this is what happens. You end up getting battered again because you get found out when you play a team that's well drilled. Wolves are not amazing. They're just a good team. But guess what? They've got a manager that knows what he's doing.
Have a system,
They're well
mate.
drilled. That's all it is.
And the players
Cunha,
are hungry.
Cunha,
And the players
Cunha.
wanna
Me and Forward started the season literally spoke about Cunha, and I said this guy resembles Musa Dembele so much because on the ball he is unbelievable. He's good, very good on the ball.
Yeah.
But when you watch this guy can't finish fuck all. Why is it that he gets a hat trick against us?
Chelsea,
Why?
man. That's what we do.
Why? Cunha.
See that play?
Yeah, this guy can't finish nothing. Right?
One was a
I'm
fan,
sorry.
right?
This manager,
It's not
as much as I agree, yes, these board, the directors, all of that, we know that they brought too much inexperience. We know that. But no one is gonna gaslight me into thinking that these men that we've got right now are not good enough to be winning consistently to get in the top 6. Yeah. And then what makes it even worse is this year, if you go looking in and around the top 6 or top 10 or whatever, it's very inconsistent, bro. United are very inconsistent. Brighton are very inconsistent. Newcastle very inconsistent. This is not. This was a perfect year. This was the perfect year for this guy to go and do a little something. Because end of the day, yeah, even against Arsenal, he played very well. Against Man City, we played.
See, this is what you're saying. Thank you, but this is naive. How did they get to the byline though? That's the problem with me. You guys.
This one, they're talking about this. How did they get there?
How did you get to that position to get that?
So you're not. Teams aren't meant to attack.
Bro, but how they got
where was Ben Chilwell?
with ease? What the
They got to the byline more than us in that game. More than us.
You're constantly moving the goalposts. You're constantly gonna keep moving the goalposts. Go watch how they got in those positions. Come on now, man. This guy has not been good enough, and this is coming from a guy that wanted him in, bro. But I don't owe the guy no loyalty.
Wanted him in, yes.
I don't owe the guy no loyalty. I can only speak about what I'm watching. And right now, you saying just stick with the guy is blind hope. You're just hoping for the best, bro. You're not coming to the reality of the situation. The guy is shit. The guy is a hippo. The guy is crap. Get out the club, bro. Get out, bro. He's not good enough. And you're here backing him saying he should get more time. What has he shown us to get more time? What has he shown us to get more time? Oh, honestly, bro, answer the question. What has he shown us to get more time? He has shown us that he's a pussy. He's shown us that he's not brave. You've got a guy, yeah, Maatsen, the other day, yeah. Maatsen's flourishing all of a sudden. People are going to move the goalposts. Oh, it's only Germany. But guess what? Maatsen can play exactly how we want our left back to play out of build-up. Because when you're playing Ben Chilwell there, the guy is grenade football, like I've said. The ball comes to him, he doesn't know what to do with it because he's not technical enough. He is a classic fullback that are dying in today's game. You need someone that can invert or, be able to actually hold their own any possession and help you build up. Maatsen could do that. But no. Let me stick with height. Let me stick with Levi Colwill week after week, even though you've got managers like Michael Carrick, who are managing in the Championship, by the way, mid-table club in the Championship. And he literally said, we targeted that side. Why can a manager in the Championship see that that's a side to target? That's a weak side. But Pochettino, week after week, kept persisting with it. Week after week. Why? Oh, injuries. No. Let's go back to the game against Brentford. He had 2 right backs on the bench in Gusto and Reece James. He started Disasi. Yeah. Then he brought on Reece James when it was a little bit too late. Yeah. I'm not hearing this injury thing because when he's had guys fit, like yesterday, he still makes the wrong decisions. He still puts out the wrong lineups. Why is he starting Gallagher again? Why?
You're not hearing the injury thing. Okay, well,
I did hear the injury thing. Hence why I'm only on strike 3 as of yesterday.
No, you just said you're not hearing the injury thing. So
no. I'm not hearing it. I'm hearing it to an extent, but I'm not hearing it because there's been multiple games where he's had guys fit and he's still put out an imbalanced lineup because he hasn't been brave enough to play people in their natural position week after week.
Maybe I'm more calm than you guys because I never thought this team was ready to compete anythes. That's just where it is. You guys,
they were having a different conversation.
Before the season, everyone was ready to race at the beginning of the season. Don't tell me that you weren't on that tip before. Do not shake your head, Jen. You were one of those people that was specifically said we should be top 4 this year. Okay, so I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. All right, so I'm a little different than you guys in that respect, right?
I never said that.
I admit, there's a few of us fans, I'll speak for myself. I said we can get 4th or 5th. But guess what? That's an expectation. That's not reality. So I expect us to get 4th or 5th with a brand new team, young players, Poch with track record. A lot of us here wanted Poch. It wasn't a bad appointment at the time. Hindsight is a lucrative commodity. Yeah. The problem is you're slightly trying to gaslight the man then by saying, "Oh, I never thought we would compete for titles anyway."
Bro, I've been saying it.
No. That's fine. But we didn't expect us to go from where we was to all.
Well, I can't help that.
Because even under Roman, we didn't compete for a league 2018-17, bro. So none of us were expecting that to happen. The problem is
we rebuilt the squad, right? We brought
no. The
100 million
problem
and
is
whatnot.
I expected to be competitive in the league, and that could mean Champions League or Europa League or Conference League at a bare minimum. We are languishing in 11th place. The reason why we're having a big discussion and everyone's turned up is because it got to a really bad point where we can't even see any positives from the whole season. We can't see the positives from the signings, from the manager, from the board.
Development.
And it's trending downwards as well.
Yeah. So you're saying to us, oh yeah, but you shouldn't expect us to be, yes, that's fine. You could say that.
Was just Chaz, just to be clear, that was in response to, okay, well, this was happening and this was happening and this was happening and this was happening. That was in response to that. It's not because I don't think that what you're saying is genuine right now. It's true. There is a downward spiral.
I'm not going to call you like ultra like positive, because that's disrespectful. But what I would say is you need to have a level of like relative like understanding where we get it. We're no longer Roman. So we're not going to be there anymore on hire and fire in the same way, in the same manner. But at the same time, if it takes us 4 managers in 3 years, I will sack every single one of those managers to get the right one. Because at the end of the day, my football club matters. I don't care if it's short-term success or 10-year success. No one can tell me either one works. It depends on the football club.
But this is the problem that I have, though.
Liverpool had got...
Hold on, Chaz. Just let me just finish this one point. I just want to come on the back of what you just said, because I think it's important to understand, okay? This is the youngest squad in the Premier League. Is that a fact?
Yes.
Okay. We don't have any leadership in the structure of this club right now. Am I right about that? Is that true? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to bring in a manager to come in and work with this squad and basically, and what's supposed, like, let me just finish this point, because I don't think I'm articulating myself correctly right now. Right? We have a young squad that's going to come in, and we're expecting this leadership and whatnot to change because we changed the manager. And then this new manager comes, like, who's going to want to take this on is what I'm saying. You keep chopping and changing it. You keep changing. Like, the problem that I have right now with what we have right now is that we don't have any leaders on the pitch. We have a very, very young squad, and you're expecting people to just like come in and change it and change it and change it. It takes time. Like, these are young players. Right? So like manager, I don't think if you look at like those managers, like you look at the Klopps, the Peps, the Joses, even Tuchel, none of those guys want to work with kids. None of them. They want a seasoned professional squad. So who's the guy that you're going to, after chopping and changing it 5, 6, 7 times, who's going to deliver better results?
Okay, so my thing with this is, and I've said this is bigger reason why I didn't want Poch at the beginning when we were talking about this a long time ago, is the mentality element to it. Because you're right, we don't have many leaders in the team. Even people would say, Thiago Silva's maybe one, Conor Gallagher shows it a little bit, Chilwell, Reece James, whatever, right? These players you could look at as being leaders of this football club. But when you bring in a manager in that hasn't got that mentality anyway in him,
right?
It doesn't rub off against a squad that needs it. So at the end of the day, my issue is you're bringing in someone in who not only in press conferences but on the pitch and how he's addressed himself up to this point and standards I'm talking about as well has shown me that really he hasn't got what we need to get these players like you're talking about to this level in terms of development. But development also comes with leadership qualities, because let's be serious, if Fofana was fit, would we class him as a leader, an up and coming leader?
No,
an up and coming leader in this team.
No, I don't think that he's a leader.
What's an
up and coming leader, Jem?
Like someone that comes into the team that you can look
someone
at.
That could be vocal and command the squad.
A leader is somebody that men want to follow. I want to follow.
Yeah, you're either leader. You're either leader. There's no up and coming leaders.
If you can't listen to Thiago Silva, you're gonna have a hard time listening to a lot of players.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's definitely one.
That's a legend of the game. So I struggle to find who's gonna come in and they're gonna listen to if they can't listen to Silva.
It doesn't matter who comes in. I think this is my biggest issue about the whole thing, and big up everyone too.
Big up.
Is that everyone's biggest focus is Poch. Poch is one of the problems. Like I think Coach said, it's the easiest problem. It's the cheapest problem to fix, to get rid of and replace. But there is so many other issues. What does Poch, Vival, the technical directors, and all our transfer policy have in common? None of them won anything, right? But they're all young players, and they're all brought in for development. These players weren't brought in for a style of play. They weren't brought in for the coach. You bring Klopp or Pep or anyone that you guys have mentioned, yeah? They needed a certain type of players, a certain type of characteristics. Who's going to come in, right, and just straight away just fix everything? Or, you know how it's going to happen? You bring Jose in, he's going to see this, I can't work with this, I can't work with that, and then he's going to revert to playing the simplest football, which is counter-attacking, sit back, and whatnot. And that's going to be temporary. People are going to get bored of that, right? You got to understand that if we get rid of Poch, and he could go. My biggest thing that he can go. This is not a defense for Poch. The person that comes in is having the same characteristics as Potter and Poch. It's going to continue a very similar problem, right? Either these players step up, right, and become players, or we get more experienced players and we start looking like a team. So it doesn't matter. Just like in the Roman era, we could change managers and we can still win things.
How did Thomas Tuchel solve problems in a squad that wasn't his?
Let me give the perfect example, Jem. How can Emery take a team? How can Emery take a team that were basically in the relegation zone? Emery, Gerrard last season when Aston Villa had Gerrard last season, I kept banging on about it. I said, bro, these lot have got some good players on paper, but look where they are. Yeah, and if you watch their games and you watch how they were losing games, how tactically how they were being set up, how they looked on the pitch, they looked clueless, bro. Yeah, that was because of the manager, right? Emery comes in and completely changes things. Me and Jem were at the game last season when Graham Potter got sacked when we played Aston Villa. Jem, what was Emery doing on the side, bro, throughout the whole game? What was he doing on the side, bro? He was active, bro. Active. And now look how they've started the season. They're being put up there as title challengers, whatever you want to call it, yeah. But they're comfortably going to get Europe, in my opinion, yeah. And that's the same squad,
doesn't it? You can tell his energy.
I got laughed at for saying I wanted good evening. I wanted him over Potter.
Declared he took a team of Premier League rejects to win a Europa League one.
And
he's
hold on. I rate good evening.
He's a decent manager.
I rate because I know what he did before he even came to the Premier League. You give him time, he finds players, he finds some characteristics that he wants. Give him like two, three seasons, and then he goes and wins the Europa, right?
At Villa, he had like half of a season, and he had him shooting up the table. So
at Valencia, at Seville, I'm talking about.
Before that, even Emery, Europa League but like I'm saying, Don's example is particular to the Premier League.
But where it doesn't matter. Where the biggest difference factor is here is that
point before because I got to put my son down.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't think any of us
coming off that.
I don't think any of us disagree that the board is the problem, but also the manager is a big problem too. Like, you know what I mean? And then he's not improving anybody. He's regressing people. So why do we have to stick with both? Why can't we just get rid of Poch and then get an interim and regroup in the summer?
I agree.
I agree. I'm saying I think our energy should be split. I think it should go after the board. And I think, you know what, I want to make this big point because I've heard this a long time.
That's why.
Yeah, sorry.
So how do you know they weren't buying into the system before, but they saw that it was not yielding any results and we were getting battered? It's not like we were making progress in those games. Like most of those games, we were getting battered. The second half substitutions, especially in like Newcastle, Man United, even the start of Man United game, we constantly get battered. And these players are like, and they're playing out of position and they're just like, what the fuck is going on? At least if you're playing out of position and the team is functioning well, I think players will be like, okay, this is all right because my team, I know where I'm supposed to be. I'm getting results, but we're constantly like not yielding results. So you as a human being is like, this shit is not working. And collectively, you're probably going to come together and be like, oh, this shit is fucking stupid. And now
I don't think none of that was taken into account in the hire of Poch, like any of that. It was only based that he actually worked with young players before, and that's it. I think that's why I don't think Poch was our first choice. I think some of some of the managers we did want to turn this down. I think that's how he got the job. I think that's how our directors got the job.
He's the right profile manager. That's it.
I think Poch has always been the backup option. Like if you can't get your main managers, Poch is the next one.
Manager. I just think he's misprofiled, and why I say that, and I keep going with the way he is with the players, right? Like it goes to things with some of his comments after we lose games. You know, like after the Liverpool game, even after this game, like the way he's talking, you've got to bear in mind what the manager says, in my opinion, rubs off against your players and your squad.
Facts.
And like when you're looking at Emery, for example, like I've watched with him, he goes mad when they don't do certain things. He's like, and I'm not saying you need someone that goes all the time and go crazy, but you could see that they were so all together in it, like on point, like shit, if I don't do this, you go with Poch, it's like he goes, we're not ready for it. We're not there. This is the level
I honestly
that we don't need in this club.
Can I say this? Do you guys think that he doesn't want to be here? Like the players look like they didn't want to be there. I feel like he doesn't want to be here, and it's becoming a common thread. I don't think Potter wanted to be here, right? And Tuchel, and there was issues with Tuchel too. This is a common thread. Why does managers not want to be here? This used to be one of the best jobs.
Yeah, but
why don't they want to be here?
Declare. This is the thing though. People are trying to. I don't know if you're trying to like insinuate that it's a club problem. Yes, we know the bigger issue, yeah. But end of the day, we've got a whole new bunch of players that want to play for the club now. You can clearly see that these men aren't like the man that checked out last season. They want to play for the club, barring a few people. Maybe Sterling's checked out now, he wants to leave or whatever, just go Saudi or something. Yeah. This guy has a platform. He has something that he can build from. Yeah, something that he can build the bare minimum. Yeah, Europe from. He does. He has that. Yeah, as much as we've got gaps or whatever, he has something that he can build from. And weeks ago, yeah, at the start, towards the start of the season,
take care, man.
I kept. In a bit, Javi. Yeah, Jem, you make a good point about how Poch comes out after interviews, whatever. Yeah, it's the mentality thing, because one thing that I spoke about is we're losing these games. We're losing these games and we're not picking up results. But to me, when I'm seeing Poch, he's looking way too relaxed, as if he's got all the time in the world. He's looking way too relaxed, as if it's we lost. Okay, let's just get on with it. No, that's not good enough. That is not good enough. Yeah, he's too. I don't know if he's too nice or whatever. But bro, like. Every manager is different. I understand all of that. But this guy has just been a joke off the pitch, and even on the pitch, it's been a joke as well. It's been embarrassing. And he came with all that talk, talking about mentality. We are Chelsea, we need to win. We need to win now. Remember start of the season, that interview he put out, all of that? And then now it's, we're too far from top 4. We're not good enough. We're not good enough for that. We're not good enough for this. We're not good enough for that.
Is obviously proving to be too strong for some of these people, right?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. But it's not, and like I said, it doesn't just fall at the feet of the managers, also the players as well. We're seeing regression. Just let me finish for 1 second. Just 1 second. I just want to finish with one idea. I'll mute myself again. I think that you made some great points here, and I agree. Like, I think that this guy came in thinking that, the mentality at this club is, you can just massage certain egos and whatnot, you'll get the results you want. But really, just even within the terraces alone, it's a very, very cutthroat club, and it's very hard to just come in there with like a weak mentality and expect to win. That's true with the players as well.
Mm-hmm. Bro, I've got no sympathy. For him, Couch, here, because he has created his own mess. And one of the first things I said when the Poch out thing came out early on in the season, I said, bro, I don't blame these lot. For saying Poch out, even though I wasn't Poch out at that point. I said, I don't blame them. Everything that they're saying, I completely agree with it. And I hear them, right? I hear them, because this guy was making basic errors week after week after week. And like I said to you earlier, he has to show us something to want to believe in him, bro. Not blind hope. I don't do no blind faith and blind hope. I've never been like that in life, let alone in football. Do you get what I'm saying? So this guy has just, like I said earlier, he dug his own grave. He has dug his own grave, and it's time to cut. It's time to go.
Yeah, and on that note, I do need to go, guys. 20 past 3, 2 hours and 10 minutes, 300 people in the live. This has been absolutely exploding live. Guys, if you want to sign off and let people know where they can find you, that would be great going forward. I mean, where can the people find you, man? On the Twitter.
Yeah, my Twitter handle's there, innit? Obviously it was a good chat, boys. Obviously big up everybody here, big up everybody listening as well. Make sure you drop a like, comment as well. Leave your thoughts, because there's obviously been a lot said. But yeah, man, again, a lot of what's been said over the season. I've said it many times. I was happy just to listen for the most part with this conversation. But Yeah, it's just obviously distressing where we are right now as a club, but we just have to hope that it changes from the board level, because I mean, I'm not putting too much hope in the manager. I feel like that's kind of set in stone. It's just a matter of time, really. But we just have to hope that obviously the board maybe can learn from the mistakes. We've seen it in previous boards, whether it's Arsenal, whether it's Liverpool, they've made mistakes in the past, but they've actually corrected it. They've also got the right manager in as well that's also improved with their ideas, developed with their ideas, I should say. So we have to hope that that's the case of us, because again, like I said, we're too big of a club. We're in too good of a position to be languishing in an 11th place for multiple seasons. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Chez, where can the people find you?
Yeah, you know who the vibes are. But shout out everyone in the chat. Like Ward said, definitely leave your comments. We can see everyone's contrast of opinions. But yeah, my YouTube channel is literally there. It's my name, Chez. And then my Twitter handle, you'll find it, Chesing_English. But yeah, shout out the panel. Shout out the comment section. Big up everyone.
Couch, you've just put up a recent video. Do you want to let the people know where they can watch that video?
Oh man, I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna want to see that, man. Man, Zimmer just cooking me in the chat. You don't know what you're talking about, man. You should just leave the panel. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? You don't know football. Anyway.
That's actually going to bring people to there. They want to see more nonsense and leave more angry comments to you.
If you guys are a sucker for punishment and you want more nonsense, then it's Couch Critic. It's easy to find. But yeah,
that's a great promo.
But no, like I'm just here for the vibes, to be honest with you.
Apologist.
You see? I'm just here for the vibes. I'm really just like there's a lot of good discussion there, and it's not that I disagree with a lot of what's been said here. I actually do agree with a lot of it. I just don't think that it's as one-sided as we'd like to believe it to be. And maybe that's where we have to kind of look at it and kind of have to look in the cracks of things more so than just like being, so staunchly, polarizing. Like I'm more in the middle of this stuff. I think that there's both sides of this argument need addressing, and we need to look at that more so than being like a polarizing I'm Poch out or polarizing, Poch in or whatever that is. So that's what I think we
we're very used to these shows to isolating like the people in charge of the players, and like obviously we can only go on what we see in the results, and obviously he's at the forefront of it because it's his systems, it's his tactics, it's his game plans, it's his problem solving if he can do any. It's all of these things that I think we're looking at, and you expect more from maybe the expectations of this squad for some fans is a little bit higher than maybe others, and whatever else. But I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next couple of days. But Declared, is this your Twitter? Yeah.
Yep, and you can find me from Land Down Under too, if you're out here.
Land Down Under. under the ground, hiding.
Yeah, please DM me some angry comments. I look forward to them.
Phil Mitchell, what you saying, man? I mean, you're about everywhere, aren't you? But keep drinking.
Bro, just listen, big up the chat, man. Big up the boys, man. Hey, listen, I'm gonna be on the top 6 later. So yeah, if you want to see more, just tune in, man, because I'm not a happy bunny, man. I'm really not right now. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Greasy Don. The YouTube's coming real soon. But I did a fan cam for yesterday's game, so if you check Chelsea fan TV, it should be on there. Yeah, I'm making it. Yeah. The YouTube's coming out.
Okay, interesting.
But
YouTube. Come on.
Yeah, bro. About time, and bare people been getting on to me like, make one, and I've been slacking on that front. But yeah, definitely.
It'll be good when I can join yours, and it'll be the other way around.
I'll let you know, bro. But yeah, I did a fan cam on Chelsea fan TV, so go look at that. Comment on there. Let me know your thoughts. I do read through them. But yeah, man, Poch out, man. Big up people.
Firm Poch outs as well. I mean, Hassan, where can they find you? And I want to know how many people in this live right now.
Yeah. You could do a poll while I'm talking. Do a quick poll. But anyways, you can find me unnamed Rekka on Twitter. I'll be on Casually FC later as a guest appearance, so you can check that channel out. But yeah, I mean, just make sure that you follow each of those channels. Make sure to follow the speakers if you like them. follow Couch, follow Gem on. You'll find Gem anywhere, everywhere. You'll find Don everywhere. You know where to find all of us anyways. We're always here anyways, win, lose or draw. So I just gotta keep it short. I mean, unless Gem's on holiday or to Italy or Germany or somewhere, but
for like 3 months, which does happen. Sorry, guys. Who's Poch out here? Who's Poch in? Who's Poch out? How many Poch outers are in this panel right now? I want to know. Just say yeah.
Everyone.
Not me, not yet. I mean, I'm Poch out in the summer unless he changes things drastically. But I wouldn't.
I think everyone is barred Couch and Ford. If I'm not.
Forward, you know you can be prosecuted. You know you can be prosecuted for that. You know that.
Hey,
I just. You know you can be prosecuted for that.
Like I said, since United, I would just wait for not wait for it. Like I'm gonna give him some opportunities because again, injuries and all of that. Even though injuries will come back, which is why Wolves is such a big setback.
Exactly.
But I'm waiting for it to become untenable. And right now it's close because Wolves is unacceptable, especially 8 goals in the week. Liverpool as well. But it's not untenable for me yet, so I'm going to give him maybe one try.
Story arc, you know,
bro. What done it for me is the fact that right now I've got the exact same feeling I had when we lost to Southampton last season. I've got the exact same feeling. It's weird. I can't describe it, bro. It's just it's a feeling. That's enough for me to say it's done. It's done.
No, I hear it.
I'm Poch in. I think Poch is the right guy. I think we'll win trophies in the next 3 years with him. Champions League. He'll get that of Enzo and Caicedo. I think you'll see an amazing Chelsea in the next couple of years under Pochettino, guys. I just think we've got to be patient. Give me a follow, GNA TV, guys, which is right here. Yeah, go over.
Somebody just clip that and just put it on Twitter. By the way, just what Gem said the last week.
Out of context as well. Do it out of context.
Don't put it on Twitter. I get so much hate. They'll think I'm being it.
Make sure to add Gem as well, yeah, to make sure they find.
Wednesday we've got the cup game. Do we do a match preview to that?
I'm going to that game actually.
I mean, listen, Wednesday that's a small game. The real big game Wednesday is Nigeria versus South Africa, AFCON semi-final. That's the real blockbuster. Yeah, no one cares about no Chelsea Cup game. No one cares about that. Yeah, Deeper Eagles. That's where it's at.
AFCON for the win, man. For real, AFCON for the win, man.
Yeah, crazy tournament, man. Honestly, amazing stuff.
Win, lose or draw, up the Chelsea always, man. Even though I've been defending, even though I've been turning an eye to it and I've just given up. It still affects me in the brain because I'm up till 2 a.m. talking about it. It does matter. Big up, guys. Big love. Up the Chelsea. Hopefully we turn the corner soon and we win a trophy at the end of the month. Anyway, big love, guys. See you in a bit. Peace.